Chapter 581. Preparing for third job advancement without external force. Antares watched Lin Mo, who was sitting cross-legged with his eyes closed, with great curiosity. It really wanted to know what kind of skill could allow Lin Mo, who was not even level 70 yet, to cause harm to its existence. To put it bluntly, even if the demigods of the human race, the demon emperors of the abyss, and the dragon emperors of the dragon race joined forces, they wouldn't be able to hurt a single hair on its body. This was even referring to the situation where it didn't fight back. The reason it looked down on these guys was because these guys couldn't even break its defense. But now, it felt that Lin Mo's skill might be able to hurt it. It believed that its feelings were correct. Then it thought of a question. According to this, the attack power of Lin Mo's skill might be able to kill the demon emperors and others. In Antares' understanding, a skill that could hurt itself would definitely be able to kill the demon emperors and others. Thinking like this made it even more surprised. Lin Mo's aura finally began to calm down, and the skill star core's absorption of soul energy was also coming to an end. Antares didn't sleep. It wanted to ask Lin Mo properly what this skill was. The last skill had already surprised it enough. What kind of trouble was this one going to cause? This kid is always making trouble. The second skill star core, like the first one, exploded after absorbing enough soul energy. And it established a connection with the first skill star core, attracting each other and beginning to rotate with Lin Mo's soul as the center. Gain soul energy, experience plus 1000000. Gain soul energy, experience plus 1000000. Gain soul energy, experience plus 1000000. ... Information 29 jumped wildly. The skill star core regurgitated soul energy, greatly increasing experience. Lin Mo didn't care about the experience. He saw the golden glow on the corpse explosion skill star core, only about 1/5. It was much worse than the first one's 50% fusion. Relying on the powerful recovery ability brought by the power of divinity, Lin Mo truly poured soul energy into it without regard for the cost. But even so, there was only about 20% fusion rate. Corpse explosion was extremely difficult to level up in the past. I didn't expect that even now that it has merged into the soul, it is still difficult to level up. After the skill star core enters the soul, it no longer looks at the level, it only looks at the fusion rate. Looking at the fusion rate that was difficult to improve in front of him, Lin Mo could only accept it calmly. Corpse explosion 20% fusion detonates corpses or remains, dealing damage equal to 20% of the target's life before death within a 100-meter range. After checking the changed skill, Lin Mo fell into deep thought. The change in this skill was a bit strange. The range increased greatly, from 7 meters to 100 meters. And this 100 meters should not be the limit, it can be increased in the future. And the power was reduced from 40% to 20%, a full reduction of half. After thinking about it, Lin Mo felt that this change had both advantages and disadvantages. But overall, the advantages outweighed the disadvantages. Lin Mo knew that his talent could affect the corpse explosion skill. Then the range would change from 100 meters to 7,000 meters. This range was very large, it could cover the entire battlefield, even the sky was within the skill's attack range. No longer like before, having to throw the corpse into the sky in order to strike enemies in the air. Secondly, he could lock onto enemies, allowing him to choose which enemies would receive the attack. No longer like before, causing damage to non-teammates within the range. In this way, he would no longer be afraid of accidentally hurting his own people. These two changes made the corpse explosion skill more flexible. Although the power was reduced by half, after amplification, it still possessed the equivalent of 14 times the corpses. Lin Mo was suddenly stunned. He realized he had misread. In shock, Lin Mo opened his eyes. His eyes showed an undisguised shock. Antares had been paying attention to Lin Mo. Lin Mo's eyes made it realize that Lin Mo seemed to be shocked by his own skill. What kind of skill is it? Antares was extremely curious. Kid, which skill did you move this time? Lin Mo didn't answer. Antares, help me do some experiments. Is it about skill experiments? Antares asked. Lin Mo nodded. Yes. Okay. Driven by curiosity, Antares did not hesitate and agreed immediately. Lin Mo didn't expect Antares to agree so readily. Usually it was very lazy and had to be discussed properly before doing anything. Lin Mo was about to test when a white light suddenly rose from his body. Lin Mo leveled up, from level 69 to level 70. He moved 2 skill star cores, pouring in and consuming a lot of soul power. The skill star cores fused with the soul, regurgitating soul power and becoming Lin Mo's experience points. He unknowingly completed the level up. Level 70, time for third job advancement. Third job advancement, Antares said in a deep voice. Don't test yet, advance your job first. Do as I said. Lin Mo nodded. Okay. Job advancement is greater than everything, skill testing can be done anytime, no need to rush. Lin Mo, who had just stood up, sat cross-legged again, adjusting his state to the best. Thoughts flashed through his mind like lightning, recent experiences flashed through his mind like fleeting shadows. Starting from level 60, he seemed to have entered the fast lane of leveling up. Basically, he completed the level up in not much time. In total, including the skill star transfer, reaching levels 60 to 70 took just over 2 months. Compared to others who take a year or two to level up once, I'm practically on a rocket. Finally, it's time for the third class advancement. Without relying on formations, without relying on external forces, using nothing but the talent stone. This method of third class advancement has never appeared in this era. Lin Mo Yu asked Antares, if not relying on external forces, why use the talent stone? Antares' answer was that not relying on external forces meant not depending on them, but the talent stone had more advantages than disadvantages. Exchanging a negligible price with no harm to the future for a very helpful talent. That's naturally a good thing. At the time, Antares said that some people didn't even use the talent stone, wanting to awaken their talents on their own. It was said that the talent awakened on their own was more powerful than the talent obtained by using the talent stone. But this claim has not been confirmed, and that person failed to awaken their talent on their own. The third class advancement only happens once, and the opportunity to awaken a talent only happens once, with no possibility of starting over. So, all things considered, it's better to use the talent stone. Lin Mo Yu remembered these words, but had some different views. He possessed the system, although the system rarely appeared. But every time it appeared, it could play a huge role. Integrating skills, integrating talents, the system only did these two things. The existence of the system was a secret that Lin Mo Yu would never tell anyone. Antares didn't know that Lin Mo Yu had his own ideas. His ideal state was to awaken a talent on his own, and then obtain a talent through the talent stone. Then, if the system could merge the two talents, perhaps he could obtain a divine-level talent. This was the most perfect state that Lin Mo Yu imagined. Thoughts flashed quickly, these ideas only crossed his mind in an instant. Lin Mo Yu imagined it beautifully, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help but rise slightly. Antares found it strange, the class advancement hadn't even started yet, what was this guy laughing about? Lin Mo Yu's whole body's aura rose wildly, and began to surge violently. The energy of his whole body began to rush towards the sky like a storm, forming a colorful pillar of smoke. Immediately afterwards, soul energy also merged into it, and the energy became even more intense. The vast energy seemed to be attracting some kind of law of heaven and earth, using the law to stimulate Lin Mo Yu's class advancement. Originally, it should have been the formation that attracted it, but Lin Mo Yu now wanted to use his own power to attract it. The difference in difficulty between them was very large. Using a formation to attract the descent of the law acts on the formation, and then is transmitted to the class advancer through the formation. With an extra process of conversion, there will be losses, and the effect is not as good as directly attracting the descent of the law with oneself. This is what Antares said, borrowing external force. Lin Mo Yu's power continued to rise. He believed that no class advancer who had just reached level 70 would usually possess such powerful attribute energy as him. Especially soul power, which was even incomparable to him. With the combination of the two, if even he could not attract the descent of the law, it would mean that this path was really difficult to follow. Antares also looked at Lin Mo Yu, with anticipation in his eyes. Even in ancient times, among the strongest people, there were only a few who could attract the descent of the law with their own power. I'm sorry, I lied to you, they indeed did not borrow external objects, but they had seniors beside them to help attract the law. But if you want to become the supreme being, become the strongest transcendent, and even reach a higher level, you must do so. Antares had no intention of taking action. If it took action now, it would be harming Lin Mo Yu. Lin Mo Yu's whole body was incomparably bright, the light soared into the sky, as if to pierce the sky. All attributes seemed to be gathering at this moment, and in the soul, the two skill star cores also burst out with brilliant light, spitting out soul energy to help their master. Clang! The divine province cauldron, which had been silent all along, suddenly made a soft sound. A ray of light suddenly fell from the air. The law rumbled. Chapter 582. Class Sublimation, Undead Saint King. The sound of the law rumbling was extremely beautiful. Lin Moyu felt that every inch of his muscles, every drop of his blood was cheering. So this is the law. It's really wonderful. Before, whether it was the first class advancement or the second class advancement, it was all through formations. The law first descended into the formation, not directly acting on itself. In addition, the soul was not as powerful as it is now, and the perception was not so keen. The difference in feeling between the two was very large. Lin Moyu carefully felt the wonderful feeling brought by the law. The power of the law entered every cell of the body like a warm spring current. Whether it was in the previous life or this life, he had never felt so comfortable as at this moment. Lin Moyu was a little intoxicated in the comfort brought by the law. Don't be intoxicated, there will be plenty of time to contact the law in the future. Antares's words interrupted Lin Moyu's feelings, pulling him back to reality. Lin Moyu stabilized his thoughts, let himself calm down again, and officially began the third-class advancement. Now it was just the beginning of attracting the resonance of the law, pulling a trace of the law, not yet fully activating the law. He continued to work hard, especially the 2 skill star cores in the soul shone brightly, bursting out with unparalleled power. The law continued to descend, began to accumulate, until it broke a certain limit. The glow fell upon him, and the law that descended was even more intense than before. Lin Moyu found that he saw a starry sky. In the starry sky, there were still 17 skill star cores shining, and he also saw several skill star cores that had not yet been activated, still dim and dull. Skill space. Lin Moyu was a little dazed. How did he suddenly enter the skill space? Looking around, Antares was also there. No, it's not that I entered the skill space, but the skill space appeared in the outside world. No, this is a projection of the skill space. Antares's voice sounded in his ear. How is it? Have you seen the skill space? Lin Moyu nodded slightly. Antares chuckled. This path is not easy to follow, but there are many benefits. Because your skill space has been opened before the class advancement, so during the class advancement, through the influence of the law, you can see your skill space in all directions. During the class advancement, if you have spare energy, you can count how many skills there are left. But I don't think there will be many. I estimate that at level 70, level 80, there will be at most 3 or 5 skills. Lin Moyu nodded. He was already counting. The unactivated skill star cores were extremely dim, hidden in the dark world, and not easy to count. Antares said, I'll send you to a place where the law is more primitive, which will be of greater benefit to you. As he spoke, the world changed, and the space within 100 meters centered on Lin Moyu changed drastically. Antares used its great power to forcibly connect one world with Lin Moyu. It looked like Lin Moyu was still by Antares's side, but in fact Lin Moyu was already in another world. This method was many times stronger than the Dragon Emperor's. Even the space-time channel was not needed, forcibly connecting the 2 worlds, like a miracle. Barren Void. Lin Moyu was shocked. He did not expect Antares to bring him to the land of the Barren Void. During his second job change, Bai Yi Yuan brought him to the land of the Barren Void, saying that the land of the Barren Void could help him complete his second job change more effectively. Now he understood that the laws of the land of the Barren Void were more primitive and powerful. The roars of beasts came from his ears, and to an uninvited guest like Lin Moyu, it was like a meteorite had been dropped into the peaceful world of the land of the Barren Void. Lin Moyu's aura was so conspicuous in the eyes of the barren beasts. Especially the light of the law that descended from the sky, it was more like a guiding light. Pairs of bright eyes appeared in the darkness, filled with a bloodthirsty aura. Barren beasts. Lin Moyu knew that the barren beasts were coming, his whole body tensed slightly, ready for battle. Antares said, focus all your effort on the job change, leave the rest to me. Lin Moyu felt relieved and whispered, thank you. He began to focus all his effort on the job change, drawing more laws into his body. Although the laws were powerful, Lin Moyu did not dare to absorb too much at once, he always drew the laws at a steady pace. The power of the laws flowed through his body. Lin Moyu had to remember this feeling, remember the aura of the laws. After entering his body, the laws split into 3 parts. One part merged into his body, causing Lin Moyu's attributes to increase sharply. One part entered his soul, allowing the soul to grow. The other part entered the skill space, searching for skill star cores, preparing to ignite the star cores and awaken skills. This process was clearer than the feeling brought by the job change formation. When changing jobs through a formation, there was always a vague feeling, everything depended on luck. But now Lin Moyu could clearly feel the effect of the laws in his body. The attributes of his whole body were constantly increasing. The third job change at level 70 was a huge leap for all professionals. Attributes would be greatly improved. According to the information Lin Moyu had, all attributes could be increased by about 1 time. Legendary professionals would also break through the million mark in attributes at level 70. As for himself, as early as level 66, his total attributes had already exceeded 1 million. Lin Moyu did not know how much his attributes could reach after completing his third job change. His path was unique. Except for the talent godstone, he did not rely on any external objects. Even the elemental godstones that he had worked so hard to prepare were discarded. If he wanted his skills to sublimate, he had to rely on his own power. Lin Moyu kept drawing in laws, absorbing as much of the law as possible. Lin Moyu had completely fallen into his own job change rhythm, no longer caring about external things. With Antares around, he didn't need to worry about things like barren beasts at all. The more laws he absorbed, the stronger his attributes became, and all attributes almost doubled. Soon, the attributes touched the upper limit. Then, Lin Moyu injected more law energy into his soul. The soul sparkled, and the laws rumbled. The soul was rapidly strengthened under the baptism of the laws. This was a fundamental change, becoming different from before, as if stepping onto a new level. The profession also underwent magical changes under the action of the laws. The name changed. The undead monarch became the undead saint king. From the initial necromancer, he became the undead monarch. Now, from the undead monarch, he became the undead saint king. Lin Moyu felt as if he saw a world of undead creatures. There were countless skeletons, bones everywhere, bone dragons soaring in the sky, headless knights on the ground, and undead liches galloping. And he was the master of this undead world, the supreme king. The profession has sublimated. Lin Moyu clearly realized that his profession had sublimated. The qualitative change of the soul and the sublimation of the profession also brought changes in the physical attributes. The attributes that had originally reached the upper limit began to rise again. Attributes began to increase again. Lin Moyu felt happy, he did it. Without using a formation, he completed the job change, and even completed the profession sublimation. In the process of the job change, he absorbed a large amount of law power. He remembered this feeling, which would have unimaginable benefits for the future. The roar of beasts sounded again in his ears, the roar was close at hand. The barren beasts had arrived, Lin Moyu ignored them, with Antares around, he was absolutely safe. Although the job change was successful, it was not completely over. Next would be the awakening of skills and the awakening of talents. The talent godstone appeared in Lin Moyu's hand. The talent godstone burst out with dazzling light and then exploded, exploding into starlight that enveloped Lin Moyu. The starlight also contained some kind of law power, which drilled into Lin Moyu's body. A diaresis a grab it. Antares, voice rang in his mind. Lin Moyu knew what he had to do. It could be said that now was the most important moment. He had to follow the starlight brought by the talent godstone, and in the process of awakening his talent, try to find the world belonging to his talent. Even if he couldn't find it, he had to grasp a trace of a clue so that he could find the world belonging to his talent in the future. Only in this way could he have the opportunity to move his talent into his soul. Not to mention making the talent stronger, at least maintaining the current state would be countless times better than other professionals. After becoming a god, the talent gradually weakened, and the gap between gods continued to narrow. But if he still possessed the talent before becoming a god, he would still be an invincible existence among the gods. Lin Moyu's soul was constantly vibrating, he stared intently at the starlight entering his body from the talent godstone, not missing a single point. The starlight flew and traveled through his body, and finally gathered together, entered the spiritual world, and passed through the soul. Then they flew towards the deepest part of the spiritual world. Lin Moyu followed closely, not missing a step. Gradually, a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. So it's here. 583 chapters, so the system has always been there. Laws have magical powers, enough to fascinate anyone. Lin Moyu started from the job change, stirred up the power of his whole body, merged the power of his soul, and stimulated the energy of the skill star core, gathering the combination of three forces to form a more magnificent energy than the formation, bursting out, attracting the resonance of the law. The law descended to carry out the job change, quickly reaching the limit of attributes, and then breaking through the limit, triggering professional sublimation. According to what Antares said, without external objects, he did it. Now that the talent godstone is activated, Lin Mo Yu began to do this thing that is more beneficial than harmful. Following the starlight transformed by the talent godstone, Lin Mo Yu tracked all the way. The world of talent finally opened a gap for him. Through the gap, Lin Mo Yu saw two flames. The flames were burning fiercely, both shimmering with purple light, filled with a mysterious and noble aura. Both flames were extraordinary, enveloped in the aura of laws, as if they were rulers of the world, high above, looking down upon all living beings. The two purple flames represented his two talents. The unique God-level talent, comprehensive amplification. It was one of the sources of his powerful combat strength. Without this talent, no matter how strong the skills were, it would be impossible to challenge so many levels above. The other purple flame was also a unique God-level talent. It gave him powerful survivability and infinite spiritual power. Both talents were very powerful, standing side by side. Their functions were different, but there was no distinction between them in essence. The starlight brought by the talent godstone began to gather in the world of talents. The starlight focused together, and a little spark appeared out of thin air, and then turned into a golden flame. 697. The flame was newly formed, emitting golden light, looking very weak. This weakness was compared to the purple flame, but it was actually not bad, and it also had the aura of laws emanating from it. But in Lin Mo's eyes, this newly formed golden flame was still much worse than the previous two. The essence was different. Although there was still starlight pouring in continuously, the golden flame would be further enhanced. But the essence had already determined its upper limit, it would not be too high, and it was impossible to surpass the previous two. The golden flame was located at the bottom from the very beginning of its birth, and its status was inferior to the purple flame. Lin Mo probably had a guess that purple was the most noble. It was a god-level unique talent. The golden flame might also be god-level, but not a unique talent. Perhaps others could also have similar talents. A little disappointed, Lin Mo did not intend to give up. He hardened his heart. Talents can be moved into the soul and nourished by the power of the soul. Then the power of the soul can become their fuel. If I inject the power of the soul into them now, can I enhance the talents? Thinking of it, he did it. Lin Mo did not hesitate. The duration of talent awakening would not be too long. The flame was growing and taking shape. The opportunity would be lost in a flash, and it would not give him time to hesitate. Following the gap that had just been knocked open, Lin Mo's soul power rushed into the world of talents. But to Lin Mo's disappointment, the power of the soul could not be added to the stars that were forming and burning. The power of the soul continued to focus in the world of talent, forming an independent group, distinct from the golden flame, difficult to touch. Lin Mo was unwilling, but no matter how hard he tried, it was useless. The result was like this. Until the golden flame completely took shape. A message jumped out of his mind. Gained talent. Reorganization. Reorganization. After the summon dies, it will be reorganized. The reorganized summon will return to its peak state. Reorganization can be performed once every 5 minutes. Seeing the message of the talent, Lin Mo realized that this was another life-saving skill. Originally, his undead army was extremely difficult to die. Even after death, there were 3 chances to be reborn. The first 2 were brought about by his own skills, and each time it would return to its peak state. The third time was brought about by the undead aura. If you want to kill the undead army, you have to kill it 4 times. However, if the undead army does not die, he will not die. In other words, he will have 3 chances to be immune to death, and to kill him, you have to kill him 4 times. Then this talent also only increased the opportunity for an interview, and the cooling time is as long as 5 minutes. In this calculation, it is not even as good as his passive skills. The talent is a bit weak. Lin Mo sighed in his heart. This talent may be a god-level talent for others, a life-saving gold medal. But for himself, it can only be regarded as icing on the cake. Whether there is or not, the impact is not great. The enemy who can kill himself 4 times, it is estimated that he can also kill himself 5 times. The skills awakened by the talent godstone are indeed not very strong. External power is always inferior to one's own power. Lin Mo felt regret, but at this time he did not notice that although the talent had been awakened, the door to the talent world had not been closed because of this. His soul power was constantly entering the talent world. More and more soul power, in the blink of an eye, at least more than half of the soul power entered it. Lin Mo's soul power had reached the god level, and at this time, gathered in the world of talent, it actually sparked. With a soft sound, a golden flame suddenly formed. The vibration of the soul woke up Lin Mo. CJDF Lin Mo saw the new flame in the talent world. The fourth talent. There are only 3 talents, this is common sense. Even Antares said that there can only be 3 talents. More than 3, the soul will collapse. But now, the fourth talent is forming in front of you. Is the soul going to collapse? Lin Mo did not feel any signs of instability in his soul system. Lin Mo instinctively felt that his situation was related to the system. More soul power poured in, becoming the nourishment for the fourth flame. The fourth flame is also a golden flame. Isn't the current situation the one you most look forward to? You can awaken a talent through the talent god stone, and you can also awaken a talent yourself. Perhaps both talents are not strong, but the system will appear and integrate and optimize the 2 talents. Lin Mo began to look forward to the appearance of the system. Soon the flame completely took shape, and Lin Mo also received the talent information. Gained talent, rebirth, rebirth. Before he could see clearly, the talent information disappeared abruptly. A sweet voice sounded in his mind, Lin Mo's long-lost voice. Detected that the host has obtained a new talent, optimizing. Lin Mo was overjoyed, the system really appeared. Outside, Lin Mo smiled again. Antares was even more strange, what is this guy laughing at? What's so funny about changing jobs? In the dark and desolate world, the desolate beasts rushed towards Lin Mo with roars. But they could not touch Lin Mo at all and were cut into pieces by invisible power. Antares' power protected Lin Mo, and the desolate beasts could not cross the thunder pool for half a step. Antares felt strange, and did not know what Lin Mo was happy about. It decided to wait for Lin Mo to finish the job transfer, it must get to the bottom of it and ask about its ancestors for 18 generations. At this time, Lin Mo's expression showed shock. In the talent world, Lin Mo was seeing a scene that shocked him beyond compare. A necromancer in a robe suddenly appeared in the talent world. With a gentle wave of the staff in its hand, the talent world trembled incessantly. 2 large, translucent hands appeared, picked up the 2 golden flames, and brought them together. The 2 golden flames represented 2 different talents and were fundamentally impossible to merge. At this moment, the necromancer cast a law, and under its influence, the 2 golden flames miraculously began to merge. Lin Mo was dumbfounded, unable to imagine such a thing could happen. He had seen this necromancer more than once, it would appear whenever there was a demonstration during skill awakening. Moreover, it was the one who saved him when he first entered the ancient battlefield and was influenced by the Abyss Phantom, entering an illusion. Lin Mo had always been unable to understand what kind of existence it was. But now, Lin Mo suddenly woke up, it's the system. This is the image the system has conjured. So the system has been there all along. The system didn't only appear during skill fusion, it would also appear during skill awakening, demonstrating the skills for him. This system was a bit magical. The 2 flames quickly merged together, and then a touch of purple emerged from the center of the flame. The purple light grew stronger and quickly rendered the entire flame purple. In the talent world, 3 purple flames formed a triangular shape, each occupying a corner, shining brightly and looking incredibly dazzling. Talent optimization complete. Rebirth talent and recombination talent have completed fusion. Host has obtained the unique God tier talent, comprehensive rebirth. Chapter 584. Starting to experiment with skills and talents. Lin Mo's expression became extremely complex. Excitement, exhilaration, tension, shock. All sorts of emotions were displayed on his face. Even though his eyes were closed, these emotions were so clear. Antares had lived for who knows how many years and seen too many people and things, so he could tell at a glance how complex Lin Mo was right now. He was incredibly curious and wanted to know what exactly had happened to Lin Mo. Lin Mo was examining his new talent. He was reading it word by word, analyzing the talent's uses. Host has obtained the unique God tier talent, comprehensive rebirth. Comprehensive rebirth. When the summoner and summons truly die, they will be reborn, restored to their peak state, and all skills will have their cooldowns reset. This talent can be activated once per minute. While examining the talent, Lin Mo could feel laws flowing out of this newborn purple flame and merging into his soul. Not only did they merge into his soul, but the laws also permeated the skill star cores. Not only the 2 skill star cores in his soul, but also the skill star cores in the skill space were permeated by the laws. In the past, Lin Mo would not have been able to discover this. Now his soul was too strong, and he had personally witnessed the appearance, formation, fusion, and final completion of the talent. Now, tracing the laws, he could clearly see how the laws were permeating the skill star cores. Lin Mo understood that the talent he had just obtained, the unique God-tier talent, was effective on all the skills he possessed. It might be ineffective on the skills brought by the origin rune. After all, these 2 skills didn't belong to him, and he didn't even have skill star cores for them. After reading the talent word by word, Lin Mo completely understood the talent's effect. The excitement in his heart was hard to suppress. On the surface, the comprehensive rebirth talent allowed him to have 1 death-free opportunity per minute. But the significance of this talent was far more than that. The 4 most important words in the talent, truly die. It was these 4 words that gave this talent a completely different effect. Truly die allowed the talent's priority to be placed after some of his own life-saving skills. Originally, to kill him, one had to first destroy the Undead Legion. And to kill the Undead Legion, one had to kill it 4 times in 5 minutes. Only on the 4th time could he and the Undead Legion be annihilated. But now, when he was killed for the 4th time, he and the Undead Legion would gain comprehensive rebirth because of the talent. After comprehensive rebirth, all skills would be reset, and everything would start over. The enemy would need to kill him 4 times again, until the 4th time they killed him. And they needed to complete it within 1 minute. If it exceeded 1 minute, the talent would activate again, and he would have comprehensive rebirth again. This is true immortality. Lin Mo realized that his survivability had become ridiculously strong. Even if he encountered a demon emperor, if he didn't want to fight and just wanted to escape, he would have a chance to last for 1 minute. Even when facing an opponent of the demon emperor level, it would be difficult to truly kill him. From now on, I have no worries about my life. The system is too strong. Fusing 2 God-tier talents into a unique God-tier talent had brought about earth-shattering changes to the talent. Only the system could do such a thing. The talent had been mastered, but the class advancement was not over yet. The laws of heaven and earth were still rumbling incessantly, still pouring into his body. The laws responsible for the class advancement had completed the mission of strengthening his soul and body and began to pour into the skill space in large quantities. The laws were like primers, activating the skill star cores belonging to level 70. Without professional sublimation, skills need to be awakened and activated by oneself. But now, because of professional sublimation, the laws of heaven and earth would activate Lin Mo's level 70 skills for him, without him having to worry about it. In the skill space, 3 skill star cores were ignited in a row, bursting out with brilliant light. 3 skills. Lin Mo knew that he had 3 level 70 skills. For most professionals, as their level increased, the number of skills would decrease, which was a normal phenomenon. But at the same time, the number of skills decreased, but the skill strength was constantly increasing. 3 skills could only be considered mediocre among all professionals. Lin Mo was also full of expectations for these 3 skills. Obtain skill. Summon Headless Knight. Summon Headless Knight level 1 summons a black iron level Headless Knight. Obtain skill. Undead Gaze. Undead Gaze level 1 summons the Eye of the Undead, burning undead flames, dealing soul damage to the target. The damage is determined by the skill level and soul strength. Obtain skill. Bone Spear. Bone Spear level 1 releases a bone spear to attack enemies, dealing physical damage. The spear has powerful penetration, and its power is determined by the skill level and mental strength attribute. 1 summoning skill, 1 soul-based attack skill, and 1 physical attack skill. The specific power would have to be tested to know, but being able to become a level 70 skill would definitely not be bad. The rumbling of the laws gradually weakened, and the 3rd class advancement officially ended. Lin Mo firmly remembered all the feelings during the class advancement, especially the feeling in the talent world. Sooner or later, he would move all 3 flames and 3 talents from the talent world into his own soul. Even if he became a god tier, he would let the talents continue to play their role. He couldn't be like other god tier powerhouses, whose talents were still there, but their effects were greatly weakened. Lin Mo reopened his eyes and found himself surrounded by corpses. All of them were corpses of desolate beasts. One of them was particularly huge, and Lin Moyu recognized it at a glance as the corpse of the desolate beast king. Seeking fresh flowers. The powerful desolate beast king was still vulnerable in front of Antares. Antares' power was beyond imagination. Until all the laws dissipated, and the surroundings changed accordingly. Antares brought Lin Moyu back from the desolate void space. "How is it?" Antares asked in a muffled voice. It seemed a bit casual, not anxious at all. But its eyes revealed curiosity. Lin Moyu said, "It was very successful. My profession sublimated, and I also awakened a talent." Antares said unhappily, "Nonsense, you used the talent God Stone, it's normal to awaken a talent. I also know about the profession sublimation. Your current profession is Undead Saint King. This profession name seems a bit familiar. I seem to have heard it somewhere. Having lived for too long, some of the memories from too long ago have been lost." Lin Moyu laughed and said, "You must have heard it in a dream." Antares didn't continue to dwell on this issue. "Did you see your talent world?" 0. Lin Moyu hummed, "I saw it, I saw 3 flames. I remember the feeling of the talent world, and one day I will move them out." "That won't be easy," Antares said with a smirk, as if wanting to see Lin Moyu make a fool of himself. "Even if it's not easy, I will try hard." Lin Moyu clenched his fists, his eyes filled with determination. Antares asked, all right, tell me about your talent and skills, and the changes before and after the job change." It finally couldn't help but ask the curiosity in its heart indirectly. Lin Moyu hummed, "I also want to know." "I'll experiment and talk at the same time." As he spoke, Lin Moyu's heart moved, and he summoned all of his undead army, and at the same time summoned all of the liches. 7 colored halos appeared under the feet of all the skeletons, rotating and glowing, extremely spectacular. Antares asked, "How are you going to test it?" Lin Moyu said, "You attack me, first use the power level of level 90. Without saying a word, Antares launched an attack from the sky that landed on Lin Moyu. Antares' attack appeared very abruptly, and Lin Moyu couldn't figure it out at all. It could only be said that its level was too high for him to understand. It's not important if he doesn't understand now, he will always understand in the future. The God-level attack caused great damage to Lin Moyu. An invisible protective film appeared on the surface of Lin Moyu's body, with a faint white light. All the damage was transferred to the undead army under the effect of the damage transfer skill. The previous damage transfer skill only transferred damage. But now, the damage skill was moved into Lin Moyu's soul, and the fusion degree reached 50%, causing a change. Damage transfer fusion degree 50%, all damage suffered will be reduced by half, and then borne by the summon. 10,000. Chapter 585, I became the strongest member. The skill has a damage reduction function, and the damage suffered will be reduced by half. Not only that, but the skill was also affected by the comprehensive amplification talent. After the third job change at level 70, the comprehensive amplification talent was also upgraded, and the amplification reached 80 times. In this way, the damage transfer skill will reduce the damage received by 160 times before transferring it to the undead army. What is the concept of reducing damage by 160 times? Antares simulated a god-level attack that landed on Lin Moyu, and the damage to the undead army was completely within the range of tolerance. The Lich generals healed the undead army with more than a dozen consecutive treatments. Very strong defense. Antares could see that the white light film on Lin Moyu's body was very extraordinary. Lin Moyu said, "Try a level 96 attack." The level 96 attack already involved the law level, and its power was much greater than level 90. Another attack landed. Faced with a level 96 attack, the undead army still withstood it. The Lich generals performed healing one after another, and in just a few seconds, the undead army became intact again. Lin Moyu was very clear that he would no longer be a weakness from now on. On the contrary, he became the most solid member of all the undead army. If anyone tries to deal with him again with the idea of killing the summoner rather than the summoned beast, they will definitely run into a wall. Use the power of the half-step transcendent level, Lin Moyu said. Antares was slightly surprised, "Are you sure? This is a half-step transcendent, not comparable to the god level." Lin Moyu nodded, "I'm sure." He was very confident in his skills and talents, but in any case, he had to try it to know. Antares didn't hesitate, and casually snorted. An invisible force, like a meteorite, landed on Lin Mo Yu. The undead army collapsed instantly. A full 86,730 skeletons, 49 lich generals, and 7 elemental liches were collectively killed in battle. The power of the half-step transcendent level was terrifying. Even with a 160-fold damage reduction, it still couldn't be stopped. At that time, the Demon Emperor and the Dragon Emperor fought across the world, and he didn't feel it too much. Now Antares simulated a half-step transcendent level attack in person, and it was so powerful. Lin Mo Yu sighed secretly that the gap between himself and the other party was so huge. Some of the complacency that had arisen during the job change completely disappeared. Are you sure this is the power of the half-step transcendent level? Lin Mo Yu looked at Antares with a hint of luck. Antares hummed, almost, maybe a little stronger than the Demon Emperor, but it's limited. Lin Mo Yu understood, his heart moved, and the undead army appeared again. Just now, because of the undead passive skill, all the killed undead army returned to the summoning space and were reborn completely in 1 second. Summon them out for the second time. Do it again. Antares was very puzzled, but still followed Lin Mo Yu's request and completed 3 attacks. Each time it was an attack at the half-step transcendent level, and each time it could completely defeat Lin Mo Yu's undead army. After 3 times, the curiosity in Antares' eyes became stronger. Lin Mo Yu's undead army couldn't be killed. Killed 3 times in a row, resurrected 3 times in a row. At this time, Lin Mo Yu took a deep breath. Do it again. This time is the key to the experiment. In the previous 3 attacks by Antares, the first 2 times were supported by the undead passive skill. The third attack, the undead aura of the undead lich played a role. But at this time, the undead and undead aura were in cooldown. The cooldown time for undead is 5 minutes, and the cooldown time for undead aura is as long as 24 hours. If it comes again, it will only depend on talent. If the talent is really as he thought, then this time he and the undead army can still be resurrected and will not die. If it's not what he thought, then I can prepare to resurrect. Between life and death, there will always be some hesitation. Antares saw Lin Mo's hesitation. Are you sure you want to come again? Being able to resurrect 3 times has already exceeded its imagination. I didn't expect to be able to do it a 4th time. Lin Mo took a deep breath. 1 more time. If I fail, then I will prepare to resurrect. As you wish. Another force descended from the sky and smashed into Lin Mo's body. The undead army collapsed again, and Lin Mo's body was instantly crushed into powder by the huge force, exploding into a cloud of blood mist. A look of panic appeared in Antares' eyes, never expecting that Lin Mo would really die this time. He actually killed him with his own hands. However, just 0.1 seconds later, Antares' eyes suddenly narrowed. The scene in front of him was like time rewinding. Lin Mo, who had clearly exploded into blood mist, suddenly reorganized and reappeared. The comprehensive rebirth talent was activated, and Lin Mo reappeared unscathed in just an instant. Not only it, but the undead army that had just collapsed also appeared. This talent, time reversal, time law, Antares was shocked. It seemed to understand what Lin Mo wanted to test. Lin Mo's gaze fell on the halo under the undead's feet. The halo under his feet was still 7-fold, and the undying halo was also among them. The undead army was reborn, and all skill cooldowns were fully restored. Lin Mo couldn't help but laugh. Now, his life is truly guaranteed. Antares finally couldn't help but ask, what talent did you awaken? Lin Mo didn't hide anything and told Antares about the comprehensive rebirth talent. At first, Antares didn't feel anything, but Lin Mo explained his skill combination in detail. After he finished speaking, the shock in Antares' eyes could not be concealed. According to Lin Mo's statement, to kill Lin Mo, he would need to kill him 8 times in 1 minute. And each time, the entire undead army had to be wiped out. Antares said in a low voice, if you want to escape, even the Demon Emperor will probably find it difficult to kill you. It used the words, difficult to kill, not saying that it was impossible to kill. Lin Mo was also clear about the Demon Emperor's abilities. If he really didn't care about the cost, it was still possible to kill him. But he wouldn't directly collide with the Demon Emperor. After all, he was only level 70 now, and the Demon Emperors were all half-step transcendent experts, not on the same level at all. If he really wanted to collide with the Demon Emperor, he would have to wait until he reached the god level at least. At that time, if he brought a group of god-level skeletons, he might really be able to fight the Demon Emperor. Lin Mo said, let's carry out the second experiment. I still need to trouble you this time. Antares agreed without hesitation. It also wanted to see what Lin Mo was testing. There were not many things in this world that could arouse its interest, and they were all concentrated on Lin Mo. At Lin Mo's request, Antares crossed space and grabbed a few level 65 monsters, and bound them. This time, he wanted to test Corpse Explosion. It was Corpse Explosion after the skill star core was moved into the soul and changes occurred. It seemed that the range of Corpse Explosion had increased, and he could freely choose the attack target, but the power had weakened accordingly. But Lin Mo saw something unusual from the skill description and had his own guess. A level 65 monster was killed. Lin Mo locked onto the corpse, and then locked onto another monster. The corpse and the monster being experimented on were thousands of meters apart. With a bang, the explosion didn't cause any big commotion. It seemed that the corpse was just shattered, unlike before, which was earth-shattering. Then the monster thousands of meters away suddenly seemed to have been violently impacted and was blown to pieces. Antares was shocked again. The power is not very great, but it can cross space. Your skill involves laws. After the corpse explosion, the attack instantly appeared on the target thousands of meters away. This kind of attack seemed a little inexplicable, even baffling. It should be related to laws. Antares' words confirmed Lin Mo's guess. Then Lin Mo locked onto some of the remains on the ground. They were the remains of the monster that had just been blown up, just some broken corpses. In the past, there was not much vitality in these broken corpses, and they could no longer be used for corpse explosion. But now, Lin Mo didn't think so. The target was still another monster thousands of meters away. Lin Mo detonated the remains. With a crisp sound, it was still like an eggshell breaking, without any big commotion. But the monster thousands of meters away suddenly exploded and was directly blown to death. Antares said, the attack power is exactly the same as before. It seems that the effect of detonating a corpse and detonating remains is the same. Lin Mo thought carefully about the skill. A corpse explosion fusion degree 20% detonate a corpse or remains, dealing 20% of the target's life value before death to a designated target within a 100-meter range. The biggest change in this skill is neither the distance nor the power, but the phrase, life value before death. Even if only the remains of the corpse are detonated, the power is calculated based on the life value of the remains before death. A bold idea suddenly popped up in Lin Mo's mind. Does blood count as remains? What about solidified essence blood? Thinking and doing, Lin Mo took out a piece of solidified fire god essence blood. Chapter 586, Reproducing the Fire God's Strike, Meteor Continent. With the previous two experiences, Lin Mo directly held the solidified fire god essence blood in his hand this time, and then locked onto a monster thousands of meters away. Skill, Corpse Explosion. The skill was successfully activated, and with a snap, the solidified fire god essence blood turned into fragments. And the monster locked by Lin Mo suddenly exploded into a ball of flames and was burned to ashes in an instant. With a gust of wind, nothing was left. Antares suddenly raised his head and stared at the dead monster. Just now, I felt the power of the fire god. Your skill has evoked the power of the fire god, equivalent to the fire god being reborn. The fire god was level 92 back then, a little short of a mid-level god. Your skill also failed to break this limit, and it is still at the level of 92, similar to the fire god's strike. A gleam flashed in Lin Mo's eyes, and his guess came true. The power of law was integrated into the corpse explosion, and even after the fire god had fallen for so long, it could still explode with an attack power equivalent to the fire god's life. Although for some reasons, after the talent amplification, the displayed power still did not surpass the peak period of the fire god, it was still enough to be satisfactory. After all, it was just a drop of essence blood, and it was still solidified essence blood. All in all, this skill was already powerful enough. After all, the fusion degree was only 20%. If the fusion degree was increased in the future, it would continue to increase. Lin Mo even had the illusion that if he had 29 corpses, he could blow up the whole world. Antares said, whether it's survivability or attackability, you are one of the best among the professionals I have seen. At least among your peers, no one is your opponent. As long as you don't go looking for death yourself, you generally won't die. Alright, you are already level 70 and have completed your third job change. I have completed what I promised you, now it's your turn. Lin Moyu smiled slightly. Okay, then send me to the lower level space. But let's make it clear beforehand, don't send me to a dangerous place this time. I don't want to run into a world boss as soon as I enter the lower level space. Antares said impatiently. Got it, Dragon King Palace and Origin Secret Realm are both in the Meteor Continent in the lower level space. Meteor Continent is a bit dangerous, but for you, it shouldn't be a problem. Lin Moyu asked strangely, didn't you say last time that I should go to the Origin Secret Realm when I'm about to reach the god level? Antares snorted, who knew your kid's combat power would increase so quickly? Your current soul power is stronger than some level 89 guys, and your combat power is also the same, you are already qualified to try it out. Lin Moyu nodded, I understand, thank you. Thank you for what? Get lost. Antares exhaled and directly opened the space-time channel. For it, opening the space-time channel is as simple as breathing. The space-time channel opened, and Antares directly threw Lin Moyu in. Be careful in Dragon King Palace. The Origin Secret Realm is relatively safe and not dangerous, you can do whatever you want without any worries. Meteor Continent, as the most dangerous of the 4 continents in the lower level space. It is full of chaos and constant danger. There is not much information about Meteor Continent, and the human race rarely operates here. Not only does the human race not come here often, but the abyss demons and dragons will not come here unless they have something to do. The biggest danger of Meteor Continent comes from the sky. Lin Moyu had seen this sentence in the limited information. He couldn't help but raise his head and happened to see a stream of light passing over his head. The stream of light was extremely fast, exceeding 10,000 meters per second. The stream of light fell from the sky and landed less than 3,000 meters away from Lin Moyu. Immediately afterward, Lin Moyu saw a bright light. Seconds later, a loud bang came, and along with the sound, there was also an extremely terrifying shock wave. The shock wave swept across the world. Lin Moyu's bone armor shone brightly, but it only lasted for 2 seconds before it shattered. The huge force pushed Lin Moyu back hundreds of meters before stopping. During this time, Lin Moyu was subjected to wave after wave of shock damage. A large amount of damage was weakened by the skill and transferred to the Undead Legion, without causing much damage. After the shock wave weakened, he quickly rushed to the place where the light fell. A huge pit with a diameter of more than 100 meters appeared here, which was smashed out by the light cluster that fell from the sky just now. Equivalent to the attack of a level 85 world boss. Lin Moyu was slightly shocked. This level of attack was naturally not taken seriously by him. But if it were replaced by other professionals, even top professionals like level 85, it would be enough for them to suffer. If they were hit head-on, serious injuries would be normal. Lin Moyu stood on the edge of the pit, looked at the sky, thoughtfully, no wonder they say the danger here comes from the sky. And those who can operate here are top professionals of level 86 and 87. In the short time that he came to Meteor Continent, less than 2 minutes, he had already seen several light clusters falling from the sky. The light clusters are meteorites, like stars falling from the sky. Each meteorite is extremely fast and difficult to avoid. Lin Moyu is now on the edge of Meteor Continent. As he goes deeper into Meteor Continent, the meteorites will become denser and the power will increase. The ground in front of him began to move and was recovering. It still maintains the characteristics of the ancient battlefield, and the earth has self-healing properties. Lin Moyu did not move forward, but began to practice skills here. He was going to Dragon King Palace to get the Dragon Ball for Antares, but this matter was not in a hurry. He was also going to the Origin Secret Realm, but he was not in a hurry either. After reaching level 70, in addition to awakening new talents, professional sublimation, and attribute breakthroughs, there were also 3 skills. Until now, he has not been able to properly check the increased attributes. He also didn't have time to practice the skills. Lin Moyu planned to spend some time practicing the skills first. Now he has inexhaustible mental power, and there is no pressure to practice skills. As long as it's not a skill like Lightning Undead Wing that has a long cooldown time, other skills can be practiced very quickly and don't take much time. Skill: Summon Headless Knight. As a dark and gloomy wind rushed towards him, he heard the sound of horseshoes in his ears. The sound of horseshoes was accompanied by the friction of bones and metal, which was extremely harsh. A portal appeared in the dark and gloomy wind, and then flames flickered. A knight who was 3 meters tall, wearing white bone armor, carrying a sword and shield, rode a bone horse out of the portal. It has no head, its shoulders are empty, looking incomparably eerie and strange. The white bone warhorse under its seat was burning with silver-white flames on its hooves. The white bone warhorse was also covered in armor, connected to the headless knight, looking majestic. It stood there quietly, the silver-white flames constantly rising, enveloping half of the warhorse's body. Without any action, it was enough to scare the timid to death. Even though it was only a level 1 headless knight, it gave people a strong sense of oppression. This is a new member of the Undead Legion. At least in terms of appearance, Lin Moyu 340 was very satisfied. Lin Moyu felt a stronger undead aura than the skeleton. It was exactly the same as the undead aura that permeated when summoning the Skeleton King. Powerful, eerie, terrifying. Lin Moyu was not in a hurry to check the attributes of the Headless Knight. Now the skill was only level 1, and the summoned was only a black iron level Headless Knight. When the level goes up, the attributes will also change, and the skills may also be different. There is no point in looking now. Wave after wave of gloomy wind, Lin Moyu kept summoning Headless Knights. The skill level also began to rise rapidly. After reaching level 70, in addition to the doubling of attributes, many characteristics have also changed. The summoning space reached 2,400, which also allowed each Lich General to lead 2,400 members. At level 70, with 50 Lich Generals, the total amount of the Undead Legion has reached 120,000. It's just that Lin Moyu has not filled it yet. With the addition of Headless Knights, new members appeared in the Undead Legion, and Lin Moyu still followed the reason for equal distribution. Whether it was skeletons or Headless Knights, 30,000 places were allocated. The gloomy wind became more and more intense. As the level of the Headless Knight increased, the wind force of the gloomy wind also increased. And the black undead aura constantly gathered, forming a black cloud above Lin Moyu. The black cloud was composed of undead aura, exuding the aura of death. The silver-white firelight appeared and disappeared from time to time, which was incompatible with Meteor Continent. Fortunately, there is no one here in Meteor Continent, except for the meteorite light clusters that are constantly falling from the top of the head, there is nothing else. During Lin Moyu's skill training, several more meteorites fell nearby. The huge shock wave also failed to destroy the black cloud composed of undead aura. Chapter 587, Experimental Products Delivered to the Door. Abyss, Demon Emperor's Palace. The Demon Emperor was still lazily lying on his throne. Below the Demon Emperor's palace, another Dragon King appeared. This was a Dragon King of the Dragon Clan that it had just captured, used to get dragon blood to drink. Dragon blood is something that the Demon Emperor temporarily finds delicious, but it's unclear when he'll get tired of it. Over the years, preferences always change. His gaze fell outside the palace. The little guy has gone to the Meteor Star continent. Unfortunately, you have Antares protecting you, so I can't touch you for now. When you reach the god level and enter the deep space, this emperor will have a good chat with you. But even if I don't come looking for trouble, that idiot the Dragon Emperor probably won't let you go. There's a good show to watch. The Demon Emperor's eyes shone with a bright light, revealing a look of anticipation. Although his life isn't as long as Antares's, there aren't many things that can interest him anymore. The appearance of Lin Moyu piqued his interest. When the Soul Fusion Array was in operation, he secretly left a trace of his aura on Lin Moyu. This aura was very weak, but it allowed him to sense some things. For example, when Lin Moyu arrived in the lower space of the Eternal Battlefield, he could sense it. He could even roughly sense Lin Moyu's location. However, this time he didn't send anyone over. With the combat power that Lin Moyu had shown, sending ordinary demon kings would be like sending them to their deaths, let alone top demons. That's not how you send food. At least someone of Black Heaven Demon King's level would be needed to pose a threat to Lin Moyu. But Demon Kings can't move freely in the lower space, and they are also subject to various restrictions. After careful consideration, the Demon Emperor didn't take action. He planned to wait until Lin Moyu became a god and entered the deep space, then he would go and chat with Lin Moyu about life. Although he chose not to act, a piece of news spread out inadvertently. It quickly spread out of the abyss and into the dragon world. A day after Lin Moyu entered the Meteor Star continent, the Dragon Emperor received the news. The Dragon Emperor's hatred for Lin Moyu was even greater than the Demon Emperor's. That La Divine Crystal not only blew up his Dragon Emperor's palace, but also destroyed his face. When he received the news, an order was issued, and the entire Dragon clan immediately took action. Undead aura spread out in front of Lin Moyu like a black tornado. Flames rose within the tornado. A headless knight, 5 meters tall, stood before Lin Moyu. Its skeletal warhorse alone was 3 meters tall, standing there like a small mountain, extremely magnificent. Silver flames rose, enveloping the skeletal warhorse like armor. The level 70 headless knight looked like a boss. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to call it a boss, its stats were even stronger than a boss. Headless knight, level 70, strength 1,080,000. Agility 640,000. Spirit 640,000. Constitution 1,280,000. Skill, charges at a speed of 3,000 meters per second, dealing damage equal to 5 times its strength attribute to enemies along the way. Cooldown time, 1 minute. Skill, group defense, forms a team defense, which can be stacked with the same type of unit to enhance defense. Skill, immunity passive skill grants immunity to all negative statuses. The stats were extremely high, with strength exceeding that of the skeleton berserker and constitution being significantly higher, befitting the title of knight. It possessed 3 skills, completely surpassing the skeleton berserker. Although the charge skill was inferior to the skeleton berserker in terms of burst damage, it possessed extremely fast pursuit capabilities. It could be especially effective when used in large-scale group charges. Especially since the cooldown time was only 1 minute, it could be used repeatedly. Group defense was the first defensive skill to appear in the Undead Legion. Previously, the Undead Legion's defense relied solely on attributes, but now it finally had a skill. Although it was still unknown how effective it was, the fact that this attribute could be stacked was enough to prove that this skill was not weak. Seeing the immunity skill, Lin Moyu couldn't help but feel delighted. Immunity to all negative statuses, unaffected by control skills, gave the Headless Knight all-around combat capabilities. It treated all enemies equally, regardless of who they were. Although it wasn't a perfect unit, it was a significant supplement and enhancement to the Undead Legion as a whole, making up for its shortcomings. It supplemented the Undead Legion's deficiencies in defense and its lack of ability to charge into formations during large-scale battles. Lin Moyu didn't know what kind of enemies he would face in the future, so the more complete the Undead Legion was, the better, as it could cope with all kinds of situations. It took a full 2 days to train the Headless Knights. During training, Lin Moyu multitasked, simultaneously summoning and replenishing the Undead Legion. Starting at level 70, the number of Undead Legion members increased dramatically, from 86,730 at level 69 to 120,000, an increase of more than 30,000 at once, requiring replenishment. Skeleton Berserkers, Skeleton Archmages, Skeleton Sharpshooters, Headless Knights, the 4 major unit types of the Undead Legion, each with 30,000 members. When the entire fully staffed Undead Legion appeared, its aura was incredibly astonishing, worthy of the name Undying Army. But Lin Moyu wasn't shaken in the slightest. Compared to the billions of undead he had seen during his skill awakening, his little undead army was nothing at all. Continue a diaresis I1/2. Lin Moyu immediately began training the second skill. Skill, Undead Gaze. Undead Gaze level 1 summons the Eye of the Undead, burning undead flames, dealing soul damage to the target. Damage is determined by skill level and soul strength. As the skill was activated, the sky became dark and lightless once again. A illusory undead world appeared in the air, with countless undead wailing within. Silver and white flames burned fiercely, and burnt bones were everywhere. The flames burned everything, and even souls could hardly escape it. Everyone who saw this illusory world for the first time would have the illusion that their souls were being ignited. Then a gate appeared in the illusory undead world. The black gate was also burning with silvery white flames. As the gate opened, a huge eye appeared in the flames. Lin Moyu's heart skipped a beat the moment he saw the eye. What kind of eye was this? It was too terrifying. There was no eyeball, just a pure white eye burning with flames. The eye overlooked the heavens and the earth, devoid of emotion, cold to the extreme. No matter which angle you looked at it from, you would feel that this eye was staring at you. Even Lin Moyu, the caster of this skill, felt a burst of stinging pain in his soul when he saw the eye. This skill is strong. Much stronger than Soul Flame. Lin Moyu's first reaction was this, his intuition told him that this skill was very strong. It was only level 1 now, but how strong would it be if it was raised to level 70? Perhaps, this will be a great weapon to replace Soul Flame. Skills that can attack the soul are terrifying skills. Excited, Lin Mo began to cultivate his skills, constantly casting Undead Gaze. The world of the undead constantly emerged, and the fiery gate leading to the world of the undead seemed to appear as well. It's a pity that only one Undead Gaze can exist at the same time. Otherwise, Lin Mo felt that the power of the skill could be even higher. Lin Mo practiced his skills with both hands. Before, it was undead aura forming a tornado. Now it's even more like dark clouds covering the sun. The area where Lin Mo is located, within a radius of 10,000 meters, has almost become a pitch-black world where you can't see your fingers. Only when the meteor light clusters fall from the sky can they bring a trace of light. But even if the meteor hits Lin Mo's side, the shock wave cannot blow away the undead black aura. Leno's the black aura is already unbelievably thick. Lin Mo stands in the black aura, surrounded by headless knights burning with silver-white flames, setting off Lin Mo like a dark monarch. Lin Mo stood motionless for 2 days, casting countless skills. Finally, he cultivated Undead Gaze to level 70. The Undead Gaze skill consumes a lot of mental power. If it weren't for the persistence of the comprehensive connection talent, Lin Mo didn't know how long it would take to cultivate the skill. His 3 talents are very powerful and indispensable. Lin Mo's will condensed in midair, and he once again cast Undead Gaze, which had reached level 70. The level 70 skill is much stronger than when it was level 1. The phantom of the undead world descended again, covering an area of several thousand meters. The undead black aura rolled down, and a flame gate as high as 30 meters appeared in the air. An eye appeared in the door, gazing at the world. Lin Mo suddenly looked into the distance. A dragon aura was rushing towards him. Interesting, the dragon race actually knows I'm here. It's just right, just to try my skills. The corners of Lin Mo's mouth raised slightly. He was worried about not finding anyone to test his skills. The dragon race delivered itself to be an experimental product, which was just right. Chapter 588, Accuracy needs to be improved. The dragon race people saw the undead black aura from a distance. Found it, following the guidance, Lin Mo is there. What is Lin Mo doing? Why has it all turned black there? The location where Lin Mo was located had completely turned into a black world. The dark undead aura covered the sky and the earth, and occasionally some white light could be seen inside, which was the undead flame. The dragon race professionals were uneasy and gradually approached. Look, what is that? When they were still about 1,000 meters away from the black aura rolled, and silver-white flames rose above the black aura, and a gate slowly appeared. This change stunned the dragons. The gate was burning fiercely, and an undead eye appeared in the flames. The pure white eyes had no pupils, only the infiltrating white and silver fire. No matter which direction or angle you looked from, as long as you looked at the undead eye, you would feel that the undead eye was gazing at you. The undead eye swept across as if overlooking the world, and several dragons collectively stood still in midair. Only a second later, they fell from the sky one after another and fell heavily to the ground. Dead. Lin Mo saw this scene in his eyes. Undead Gaze, with soul attack, almost incinerated their souls in an instant. Unlike the pain of soul fire, they died instantly without any pain. These dragons were all existences above level 80, equivalent to the top professionals of the human race. But they were instantly killed. The power of the skill was very amazing, exceeding Lin Mo's 690 expectations. If you calculate it, without special props or skills, the top professionals of level 80 will be instantly killed by this skill. The power of the skill is determined by the skill level and my soul strength. There is no problem with the skill level, it is level 70, but my soul strength is too high. My soul strength is already comparable to that of a god, which greatly increases the power of Undead Gaze, far exceeding the ordinary. Lin Mo had a rough idea in his mind. The Undead Gaze skill was unusually powerful, and the experiment was very successful, making him feel satisfied. The flame gate still stood in midair. It could exist for about 10 minutes when Lin Mo didn't withdraw the skill. At this time, Lin Mo had already started the cultivation of the third skill. Skill: Bone Spear. Bone Spear Level 1. Release bone spears to attack enemies, dealing physical damage. The spear has strong penetration, and the power is determined by the skill level and mental power attribute. With a light tap of his finger, a white bone spear roared out, instantly streaking across the sky and disappearing from sight. So fast. Lin Mo was slightly surprised. The speed of the bone spear was too fast. Just now, in just 1 second, it flew at least 10,000 meters. It is almost impossible to avoid this speed. The faster the speed, the stronger the penetration. Just the impact generated by the speed is a considerable attack. If the skill level continues to increase, the speed may increase, and the attack power will become greater. Lin Mo knew after a few tries that the characteristics of the bone spear skill were speed, ruthlessness, and accuracy. Compared to the bone spike's area attack, the bone spear is a single-point penetration, which can achieve breaking the surface with a point. This kind of attack is always effective when dealing with barriers, formations, and defensive measures such as mage shields. Then, one bone spear after another penetrated the sky with breathing sounds, roaring towards the sky. With Lin Mo using both hands, he could cast 5 skills per second. The comprehensive connection talent came into play, so there was no need to worry about insufficient mental power. When cultivating the bone spear, Lin Mo summarized his bone-based skills. For defense, there is bone armor, for control, there is bone prison, for area attacks, there are bone spikes, and for single attacks, there is bone spear. Just the 4 bone-based skills are a very complete skill chain, with offense, defense, and control all available. Regardless of strength, just the completeness is unparalleled. In addition to the bone series, he also has summoning series, soul series, curse series and other series of skills. After merging together, he can't help but be strong. As the skill level increased, the form of the bone spear gradually changed. The spear became thicker and longer. From level 40, spiral-shaped bones appeared outside the spear. The spiral bones drove the spear to rotate rapidly during flight, further increasing the penetration, and also possessing powerful tearing force. The speed of the bone spear was also increasing. Each level increased the speed a little. Lin Mo estimated that when the skill reached level 70, the speed of the bone spear could reach more than 20,000 meters per second. At this speed, within 1,000 meters, no one except a god-level powerhouse could avoid it. Lin Mo could even imagine the enemy being torn to pieces under the bone spear. But now there are fewer and fewer situations where he needs to do it himself, and the number of times bone spears can be used will not be too many. Lin Mo wanted to experiment with his skills, but there was no target. Seeing the meteors falling from the sky, Lin Mo not only regarded them as targets. The speed of the meteors is very fast, several thousand meters per second. But it is far inferior to the bone spear. Anyway, he was also practicing skills. Lin Mo temporarily became playful, pointing his 5 fingers like a pistol at the meteor light clusters streaking across the sky. Rumbling sounds continued to ring out, and bone spears roared out, penetrating the air and shooting towards the meteors. For a time, bone spears flew randomly in the air. Both speeds were very fast, and the meteor light clusters were smaller than a fist in sight, so it was not easy to hit them. Lin Mo Yu treated it like playing a game, constantly chasing the meteor light clusters. The level of the bone spear increased unknowingly. After thousands of failures, Lin Mo Yu finally stumbled upon success, with a bone spear hitting a meteor light cluster directly. With a deafening boom, a mushroom cloud rose into the air. Various elements exploded in midair, with colorful lights flashing. With his sharp eyes, Lin Mo Yu saw something falling from the explosion, landing not far from him. Lin Mo Yu immediately rushed over and found it on the desert-like land. It was a fist-sized crystal, covered in various colors, as if filled with impurities and lacking purity. Lin Mo Yu felt various elements from the crystal, with wind, water, thunder, fire, and other elements all present. The rarely used detection skill was activated. A starry sky crystal, transformed from the power of the starry sky god, possessing the power of the starry sky god. A starry sky god. Lin Mo Yu had never heard of this god's name before. In all the information he had read, there was no record of the starry sky god. Either this god was extremely low-key, or this god was extremely weak. But even a junior god like the fire god or water god had historical records. Lin Mo Yu instinctively felt that the starry sky god should be a low-key god. But how could its divine power appear here? The meteors in the sky still existed, each fall bringing a violent explosion. After countless years of bombardment, Meteorite Continent had long become a wasteland. The monsters that could survive in Meteorite Continent were at least boss level, and most were world-class boss. Could it be that this is the true face of the meteor light cluster? The meteors that have been falling for countless years are the power of the starry sky god. Lin Mo Yu held the starry sky crystal, while also looking up at the sky, unable to understand for a moment. Let's try hitting it again. Lin Moyu used the bone spear to attack the meteor again. An aura came again from afar, a familiar aura, a familiar taste. More dragons had arrived. Thousands of meters away, the bone spear had already been fired. Lin Moyu directly turned the spearhead, once again using the dragons as test subjects. So far away, the dragon warrior had just seen Lin Moyu's figure when a white light flashed before his eyes. With a bang, a dragon warrior exploded on the spot, turning into a bloody mist. What happened? I don't know, I didn't see it clearly. Then white lights shot over one after another, and the remaining people were terrified, dodging quickly. Lin Moyu used both hands, and bone spears flew out continuously. The sight was like a child holding a slingshot and playing at shooting birds. They were extremely embarrassed, flying around in the air. After all, the distance of several thousand meters was a bit far, and Lin Moyu's accuracy still needed to be improved. If the distance is within 1,000 meters, they can't dodge at all. Lin Moyu muttered to himself, and with a thought, the skill switched. The sky suddenly darkened, the world of the undead appeared, and then a door burning with silver-white flames appeared in the sky. The door opened, revealing pure white eyes. The dragon warriors who were dodging in embarrassment trembled violently, and then fell one by one. Their souls were erased, and they died directly. Although there were no visible wounds on the surface, they were dead beyond dead, without even a chance of resurrection. Lin Moyu acted as if he had done something insignificant, and once again used the bone spear to hit the meteor light cluster. Chapter 589, Having a Weapon, a Strange Sense of Familiarity. The appearance of the dragons was like a few insignificant ants, stepped on and killed by Lin Moyu. Trying countless times, Lin Moyu gradually mastered the rhythm. Explosions occurred in the sky from time to time. From time to time, meteors were shattered in midair by Lin Moyu with the bone spear, and Lin Moyu could obtain a starry sky crystal after the explosion. The starry sky crystals were temporarily useless, but when he reached level 80 and the element lich had a slot available, he might be able to use them to summon an element lich. He just wasn't sure what the element lich summoned with the starry sky crystal would be like, or what abilities it would have. He now had 8 element liches, which had filled all the slots. Among them, apart from the flame lich and the poison lich, which could be constantly replaced due to the abundance of raw materials. Lin Moyu would try not to move the other liches, as there were not enough materials and they could not be replaced once they were replaced. 2 days later, the bone spear was cultivated to the current maximum level. The level 70 bone spear was over 3 meters long, and the outer layer was a rapidly rotating spiral-shaped bone when launched. The entire spear was spinning rapidly, and both its penetration and tearing force had reached their limits. The previous dragon warrior was the best exception, directly penetrated and blown to pieces by the bone spear. However, compared to undead gaze, this kind of death was still good. At least there was a chance of resurrection. Dying under the undead gaze, there was no chance of resurrection, it was simply a guaranteed kill. With all the skills cultivated, Lin Moyu let out a sigh of relief. After level 70, the attribute changes were a bit big. Just as he was about to check his attributes, Lin Moyu suddenly thought of a piece of equipment he owned. Since level 40, all equipment had been out of his reach, and Lin Moyu's sense of the existence of equipment had dropped to freezing point. In his opinion, almost all equipment could only be exchanged for gold coins or materials, and did not have much use. But there were 2 pieces of equipment that were different. One was the Monarch Scepter obtained from the Light Dungeon. The other was the Genesis Scepter. The Monarch Scepter was a legendary weapon, and the Genesis Scepter was even a mythical weapon. Both pieces of equipment were in a state of incomplete and damaged attributes. But as a mythical weapon, the attribute bonus of the Genesis Scepter was actually not as good as the legendary Monarch Scepter. This situation made Lin Moyu feel puzzled at the time. With a thought, Lin Moyu had the Monarch Scepter and the Genesis Scepter appear in his left and right hands at the same time. A huge force suddenly transmitted into his body, causing Lin Moyu to tremble. The aura on his body continued to rise, as if it had the potential to soar into the sky. Lin Moyu was shocked, this force was actually from the Monarch Scepter. This is the power of attributes. The Monarch Scepter is effective for me. Lin Moyu suppressed his shock and checked his attributes. A name, Lin Moyua. A class, Undead Saint King Unique A. A level, 70 A strength, 300,000 plus 500,000 A agility, 300,000 plus 500,000 A spirit. 1,000,000 plus 500,000 A constitution. 400,000 plus 500,000 A equipment. Monarch Scepter. A Monarch Scepter damaged legendary weapon, all attributes plus 500,000. A. All of his attributes have been additionally increased by 500,000. The increase in attributes brought a sense of great power. It had been a long time since Lin Moyu felt the bonus brought by equipment, and he missed this feeling a little. The creation scepter was useless to him, it was a mythic grade weapon, and his level was not high enough. Then he tried changing several pieces of equipment. From platinum grade equipment to quasi-legendary grade equipment. From weapons to armor and jewelry. After changing everything, Lin Moyu could be sure that it wasn't that he could use equipment again, but that this Monarch Scepter had something special about it. At that time, in the Light Instance dungeon, Lin Moyu instinctively thought that the angel statue represented the God of Light. The weapon it held in its hand was the weapon of the God of Light. Could it be that equipment used by gods is useful to me? Lin Moyu was not sure. How could I forget to ask Antares? Because the presence of equipment was too low for him, almost zero, Lin Moyu forgot to ask Antares about the Monarch Scepter, and didn't think of it at all. But no matter what, the attribute increase brought by the Monarch Scepter was real. Except for mental strength, the attribute bonus brought by the Monarch Scepter had already exceeded his own attributes. Each attribute increased by 500,000, and the total attribute increased by 2 million. Lin Moyu knew that other legendary grade equipment did not have such a high increase. Moreover, the Monarch Scepter was still in a damaged state. At the top of the scepter, a core component was missing, somewhat similar to the creation scepter. If one day, the scepter is completely repaired, how strong would it be? This should be a mythic grade weapon, because the core component is missing, it has fallen to the legendary grade. According to records, the God of Light is only a middle-ranked god, how could it possess a mythic grade weapon? Moreover, in the records, the God of Light used the Holy Sword of Light. Is the Monarch Scepter the weapon of the God of Light after all? I'll ask Antares later. A lot of questions arose in Lin Moyu's mind. Antares' existence was like a treasure box, solving many of Lin Moyu's questions. But the more questions that were solved, the more mysterious Lin Moyu felt about this world. First suppressing this question, Lin Moyu looked at his attributes, speechless for a long time. Finally, he took a deep breath. His own attributes were already amazing enough, all attributes 2 million. A mid-rank legendary human class, at level 70, only had 1.08 million in all attributes, he was almost twice as high. He was already on par with the attributes of a level 70 world boss. Now that he had the Monarch Scepter in hand, his attributes increased by another 2 million. All attributes reached an astonishing 4 million, even a world boss didn't have that much. Requesting flowers. It's a pity, I'm a mage. I rarely go up and fight people in close combat, such high attributes are wasted. Lin Moyu chuckled, this was a bit arrogant. Who wouldn't want their attributes to be as high as possible? Equipping the Monarch Scepter. Legendary grade equipment is different from ordinary equipment, it needs to be imprinted with a soul brand. From then on, this piece of equipment would only belong to oneself, it could not be traded, nor would it be lost. Lin Moyu's soul power flowed into the Monarch Scepter. The Monarch Scepter immediately let out a cheer, disappeared with a whoosh, and appeared in the mental world the next second. In the mental world, a small scepter appeared in Lin Moyu's soul's hand, it was the Monarch Scepter. Lin Moyu could feel the joy transmitted from the Monarch Scepter. It was like seeing a long-lost loved one, this joy came from the soul, and was difficult to express in words. Lin Moyu was stunned, are all legendary grade equipment like this? Why do I feel that the Monarch Scepter has a familiar feeling? How strange. This feeling had no reason and no origin. Lin Moyu didn't know why either, but he believed that his feeling would not be wrong. One question had not ended, and a new problem was born. Problems really came one after another, one after another. I don't know when I will become omniscient and see all the problems clearly. After checking his attributes, Lin Moyu finally left the place he had stayed for several days and walked towards the interior of the meteorite continent. Although he knew that the Dragon King Palace and the Origin Secret Realm were in the meteorite continent, he didn't know the specific location. He possessed the Origin Runea, and when he approached the A-Origin secret realm within 10,000 meters, the A-Origin Runea would sense it, and then he would be able to find it. As for the Dragon King Palace instance dungeon, he would have to search aimlessly. He promised Antares that he would find it no matter what and bring the Dragon Ball back. According to Antares, there were 2 Dragon Balls in the Dragon King Palace instance dungeon, and these 2 Dragon Balls were somewhat important to it. Lin Moyu promised it that he would do his best. The closer the meteorite continent was to the center, the denser the meteorites in the air became, and the power was also gradually increasing. It is said that in the central location, the power of the meteorites can reach an astonishing level, even equivalent to a god's strike. This level of attack power meant that only a very few powerful world boss could survive in the center of the meteorite continent. The meteorite continent was extremely barren, a vast desert plain. The hills and rivers here had been flattened. The field of vision had also become extremely wide. Lin Moyu was flying in the air, with a line of sight exceeding 100 kilometers. Half an hour after entering the continent, Lin Moyu finally saw the first monster living on the meteorite continent. Note: the protagonist and summons attributes are still in the work-related section. Missing text chapter 590, you guys just fight the boss, leave the Dragon King to me. This was a monster that looked like a crab, with a pair of huge pincers. Its body was over 20 meters, it was clearly a world boss. Just as Lin Moyu discovered it, a meteorite happened to fall towards it. It quickly adjusted its posture, and then flew towards the meteorite. One huge pincer accurately clamped the meteorite. The seemingly huge pincers became incredibly gentle the moment they clamped the meteorite. This control of power was shocking. After clamping the meteorite, the boss flew backwards dozens of meters along with the meteorite's momentum, before unloading the force. After a few seconds of stalemate between the two sides, the light ascent on the meteorite disappeared, revealing the star crystal inside. Lin Moyu found that this star crystal was much larger than the one he had obtained, at least one was worth several of his. After thinking about it for a while, he understood that he used the bone spear to knock down the meteorite, causing a big explosion. In reality, most of its energy had already been consumed. That's why the obtained meteorite crystal was relatively small, and the energy it contained was also weaker. But this world boss used another method. It can be said that it used softness to overcome strength. It did not cause the meteorite to explode, thus obtaining the complete starry sky crystal. Then, it threw the complete starry sky crystal into its mouth and swallowed it. Its whole body bloomed with brilliant light, colorful and dazzling. At this moment, a large amount of light intertwined on its body, as if turning it into a colorful star. Lin Moyu felt that its aura seemed to have increased, as if it was a bit stronger than before. So the bosses here can become stronger by absorbing starry sky crystals. The starry sky crystal contains the divine power of the starry sky god, and these divine powers have become the nourishment for the bosses to become stronger. Day after day, year after year of meteorite bombardment, none of the bosses that can survive on the meteorite continent are not powerful existences. Their imprints have been engraved on this land, and even if they are killed, they can be reborn soon after. And the rebirth speed is much faster than in other areas. Whether it's monsters or bosses, they can't be killed completely. After they die, they can be reborn after a period of time. This seems to be a kind of law. Lin Moyu didn't understand it before, but now he has some understanding. Although meteorites are destroying the earth, they are also pouring a large amount of divine power into the earth. Every inch of land on the meteorite continent contains the divine power of the starry sky god. With the blessing of divine power, monsters become stronger, and the rebirth speed becomes faster. It is precisely because of this that the extremely dangerous meteorite continent still attracts some powerful top-level professionals to come here. Often dozens of top-level professionals above level 85 form a team to kill world bosses on the meteorite continent and harvest equipment and materials. It's just that there are not many such teams. The meteorite continent is too dangerous. If you are unlucky, you will encounter a meteorite with extremely strong power. You might be blown to death on the spot. Just as the crab boss had just eaten the starry sky crystal, in a place thousands of meters away, the space seemed to be torn open like a curtain. A group of human professionals suddenly appeared, as many as 40 people. Each of them was above level 85, with a huge aura. As soon as they came out, they rushed towards the crab boss, and all kinds of skills had already been thrown out. Professionals at level 85 have basically sensed the skill space and seen the skill star core. Their understanding of skills far exceeds that of low-level professionals. The skills they threw out were extremely powerful, and they stunned the crab boss all at once. The crab boss was absorbing the starry sky crystal, as if it had entered a special state, and its reaction was obviously half a beat slower. Lin Moyu watched from a distance, somewhat surprised. Speak of Cao Cao and Cao Cao Aravesa diaresis I 1/4. He was just thinking that the top human professionals would occasionally come here to hunt world bosses, but he didn't expect to encounter it himself. Obviously these human professionals had been hiding from the crab boss for a long time, waiting for it to absorb the starry sky crystal before taking action. A hunting team composed of 40 top-level professionals, with orderly advance and retreat, suppressed the crab boss without any ability to fight back. 4 powerful knights surrounded it in the middle, firmly trapping it. The outer mages and archers kept attacking, and skills were continuously cast. There were also support personnel providing control. Although it could only create a little bit of influence, it became the last straw that broke the crab boss's back. Galan Guild, it is indeed the #1 guild of the human race. Lin Moyu saw that the costumes of these people were all printed with the Galan Guild logo. Only a guild like Galan Guild has the ability to organize such a powerful team. Lin Moyu watched for a while, knowing that the result was already doomed. Galan Guild came prepared, and caused huge damage to the crab boss from the beginning, directly laying the foundation for the battle. Just as he was about to leave, suddenly a huge aura rose from the distance again, rushing towards him. Then he saw a black shadow. The black shadow was extremely fast, and quickly approached him. Dragon King. Lin Moyu was shocked. A Dragon King actually came. The Dragon King is in existence on the same level as the Demon King and the human race's god level. Under normal circumstances, the Dragon King cannot enter the lower space. Either the Dragon Clan used special means to summon the Dragon King, or it returned through the space-time channel of the deep space. Lin Moyu felt that the possibility of the Dragon Clan summoning it through special means was higher. After all, the connection point of the space-time channel is random, and it is impossible to determine where it is. The Dragon King was obviously coming for him. Combining the previous 2 waves of Dragon Clan, Lin Moyu felt that the Dragon Clan should know his location. But he had no contact with the Dragon Clan. It should be the Demon Emperor. Lin Moyu thought of the Demon Emperor in an instant. It was most likely that the Demon Emperor had done something to him. The demon race has a means of leaving aura, and can track through aura. This kind of means is nothing strange to the Demon Emperor. Even if the Demon Emperor revealed the tracking method to the Dragon Clan, it would be normal. The Dragon Emperor must hate him very much, so it is logical to let the Dragon Clan hunt him down. Lin Moyu's soul is strong now, and his thoughts are like lightning. He can quickly understand everything. Although it was just a guess, it was very close to the truth. Lin Moyu felt that he would not guess wrong. The professionals of the Galan Guild also felt the aura of the Dragon King, and their faces showed panic. They had already seen Lin Moyu in the distance, and felt that a level 70 little guy coming to the meteorite continent was simply courting death. But at that time, in order to ambush the crab boss, they did not speak out, intending to remind Lin Moyu after the boss was killed, or they could protect Lin Moyu from leaving. How could a Dragon King suddenly come now? The change exceeded their expectations. And looking at the Dragon King's target, it was coming for Lin Moyu. A Dragon King, specially came to the meteorite continent to kill a level 70 human professional. What's going on? A diaresis A captain, do we want to protect him? Someone from the Galan Guild asked. The captain's eyes turned. Nonsense, we are all human, are we just going to watch him get killed? The Dragon King of the Dragon Clan, I want to see how strong he is. How does he compare to our human race's god-level powerhouse? That's right, I think the Dragon King of the Dragon Clan is nothing more than that. We'll know after we fight him. Brothers, work harder, quickly deal with the big crab, and then go meet the Dragon King of the Dragon Clan. Someone shouted towards Lin Moyu, little brother, quickly retreat over here. Lin Moyu heard their words, and the response of the Galan Guild did not disappoint him. This is a guild full of loyalty. Not only is it loyal to its own people, but it is also loyal to its human compatriots. In this situation, normally speaking, they should retreat Wang Dahao and leave. At least they should ignore him and protect themselves, which should be the reaction of most people. But they chose to protect him. Since that's the case, Lin Moyu's voice sounded, you just focus on fighting the boss, leave the Dragon King to me. As soon as the voice fell, Lin Moyu's aura suddenly rose. Lin Moyu looked at the Dragon King who was rushing towards him, the Dragon Clan's professionals can't test the limits of my skills, I'll just use you to test them. The undead army appeared in the air, with a full 30,000 headless knights at the forefront. Silver flames soared into the sky, like a wall of fire. After appearing, the headless knights immediately launched a charge skill, rushing towards the Dragon King at an even more astonishing speed. Although their combat power is not as good as the Dragon King, it will take some effort for the Dragon King to kill them. Then the world became dark, and a huge skeleton throne appeared in midair. The remaining 90,000 skeletons disappeared at the same time, and a skeleton king holding a sharp sword appeared in the throne. The blood-colored bone cloak fluttered in the air. The skeleton king rose from the throne with a chilling grinding sound and swung his sword at the Dragon King. Skill: Godslayer. Chapter 591. It's useless, you can't escape. The headless knight charged at the Dragon King of the Dragon Clan at a speed of 3,000 meters per second. The Dragon King's forward momentum was forcibly stopped, and then he was frantically knocked back. The charge skill is not only fast, but also has extremely terrifying impact. It can instantly burst out 5 times its own strength attribute. 1.08 million strength attribute, plus the Lich General's 70% bonus, and then multiplied by 5 times. The impact force is extremely terrifying, and even a mountain can be penetrated. The Dragon King was caught off guard and was knocked back repeatedly, unable to control his body. 30,000 headless knights took turns ramming, actually knocking him back. At this time, the Skeleton King swung his sword, and the Godslayer skill was activated. The Skeleton King, composed of 90,000 skeletons, is only one step away from the God level in terms of attributes. In theory, the attributes of the Skeleton King composed of 90,000 skeletons should break through the 10 million mark. However, due to the restrictions of the law, and limited by Lin Moi's own level, the attributes of the Skeleton King are still less than 10 million, only a little bit away from 10 million. Each attribute is as high as 2,480,000, and the overall attribute is 9.92 million, which is still 80,000 away from the real God level. These 80,000 are an insurmountable gap. The law firmly suppresses the Skeleton King. Although the attributes are less than 10 million, the Godslayer's sword is still amazingly powerful. The Dragon King screamed as the sword exploded. The dragon scale armor on his body was cut open, blood splattered, and the flesh inside was exposed, deep enough to see the bone. Lin Moi was very satisfied with this sword. Without using the strong soldier skill, although the Skeleton King has not yet reached the God level, the Godslayer's sword has reached the God level. Slaying and injuring the Dragon King is proof. The Dragon King roared, bursting out with a powerful aura, and bursts of dragon roars resounded through the sky. The wound healed quickly, and it was as good as before in the blink of an eye. It spewed out dragon breath, which was as fiery as fire, igniting the headless knights. The warhorses under the headless knights were originally burning with silver-white flames. This is the undead flame, which does not look fierce but can burn everything. The flames spewed out by the Dragon King fell on the headless knights, first engulfing the headless knights in flames. But the next second, the silver-white flames of the warhorses rose up, actually driving away the Dragon King's flames. The headless knights were quickly healed under the treatment of the Lich General. Seeing that the dragon breath was useless, the Dragon King let out a dragon roar. The bloodline boiled, and a giant dragon phantom appeared in the air. It is not an ancestral bloodline. The phantom that appears is a giant dragon with a lizard-like body and wings on its back, not a Chinese dragon. The giant dragon phantom appeared, and then the giant palm fell. The space vibrated like waves, and countless ripples fell on the headless knights. The headless knights fell one after another and crashed to the ground. Boom! With a loud bang, brilliant fireworks exploded on the Dragon King's body. A mushroom cloud was born out of thin air. The Dragon King screamed and was blown away. His dragon scales were shattered, his whole body was covered in blood, and his appearance was extremely miserable. Skill: Elemental Riot. The Skeleton King's second skill is even better than Godslayer. Although it was just some skin trauma, it at least made the Dragon King very embarrassed. After the Skeleton Archmage reached level 70, the original skill also became Elemental Riot. It is exactly the same as the Skeleton King's skill, and its power has greatly increased. The Skeleton King's skill comes from the Skeleton Archmage. After releasing 2 skills in a row, the Skeleton King had already rushed up. It was extremely fast, rushing to the Dragon King in an instant, and slashing with its sword. The Dragon King was extremely angry. A long spear appeared in his hand, and the spear struck like lightning, engaging in a fight with the Skeleton King. As a god-level powerhouse, the Dragon King is indeed extraordinary in combat power and firmly suppresses the Skeleton King. But it is still far from wanting to kill the Skeleton King. Antares once simulated the attack of a god level. Whether it is to kill the skeleton or Lin Moi, it is not easy. Lin Moi didn't even use curses, nor did he use the bone prison to restrict the Dragon King. He didn't even take the Dragon King seriously. There are plenty of ways to kill him. Now Lin Moi is just using it as an experimental product to see where the limits of each skill are. Lin Moi raised his hand and pointed his finger at the Dragon King. Skill: Bone Spear. A bone spear roared out, its speed astonishingly fast. It arrived in front of the Dragon King almost instantly. The Dragon King roared and waved his spear to collide with the bone spear. With a bang, the Dragon King's body shook, and his body twisted and turned uncontrollably. The bone spear possessed unimaginable rotational force, tearing at the Dragon King. The spear in the Dragon King's hand almost slipped and was about to be blown away. The whole person retreated even more uncontrollably. It could feel how amazing the penetrating power on the bone spear was, and its eyes revealed horror. How can his skills be so strong? Looking at Lin Moi out of the corner of his eye, he saw Lin Moi standing in the air calmly, not taking himself seriously at all. The Dragon King's dignity made it extremely angry. A mere level 70 human race professional actually doesn't take himself seriously. Is there any law in this world? Before its thoughts could arise, the Headless Knights rushed up again and launched the charge skill again. The Dragon King roared, waving his spear, bounced off the spear, and shook back the Headless Knights. At this time, the Skeleton King killed him, and the long sword crossed the sky. The Headless Knights harassed, the Skeleton King attacked, and Lin Moi attacked from a distance. The cooperation was perfect, making it impossible for the Dragon King to even touch Lin Moi's hair. Having fought until now, in less than a minute, the Dragon King has lost all face. CJBH. It began to burn its bloodline and entered a desperate mode. Terrifying power rose, and the phantom of the giant dragon appeared in the air again. The giant dragon's tail swept across, sweeping back all the Skeleton King and Headless Knights, and also sweeping away the bone spear that was shot. Then the giant dragon phantom merged with the Dragon King and killed Lin Moi. It no longer trembled with the Skeleton King, and prepared to kill Lin Moi, the master. Lin Moi chuckled and didn't take it seriously at all. The naked disregard made the Dragon King extremely angry. Die! The Dragon King roared, his spear pointing at Lin Moi like lightning. At this moment, the dragon spear was won, and its power was unparalleled. This spear was the one it burned its bloodline with, and it could also be said to be its strongest spear. Lin Moi raised his hand and pointed, locking the soul. Skill: Undead Gaze. The sky suddenly darkened, the phantom of the undead world descended, and the gate of the undead appeared in the air, with flames burning fiercely. The eye of the undead appeared, gazing at the Dragon King. The charging Dragon King suddenly let out a miserable cry, its massive body plummeting downwards. Its soul was burning, silver flames constantly scorching beneath. If it weren't for its status as a Dragon King, with a sufficiently powerful soul, that single attack would have been enough to obliterate it. The undead gaze persisted, the silver flames within its soul growing even more ferocious. The Dragon King, filled with terror, surged its soul power, resisting the flames. Only with its soul defense fully activated was it barely able to withstand the silver flames. The look it gave Lin Mo contained not only anger, but also a hint of fear. Lin Mo was too terrifying. At just level 70, he could beat it so miserably. If his level were higher, it probably wouldn't be a match. No, if Lin Mo's level were any higher, it feared it wouldn't even be able to save its life. But now, if it couldn't win, it could at least escape. Lin Mo couldn't stop it from escaping. Now, with most of its energy focused on soul defense, its overall aura was rapidly declining. It wanted to escape, as it acknowledged it was no match for Lin Mo. Continuing to fight would bring no advantage and could even cost it its life. Moreover, the power of expulsion was already emanating from the space. The eternal battlefield had its own rules. As a Dragon King, it couldn't stay in the lower realm for long. Especially since it had unleashed its full power, its stay was drastically shortened. Now it regretted coming to find Lin Mo. It shouldn't have come. At least, it shouldn't have come alone. Escape. The Dragon King knew it only needed to hold on for a while, and the laws of the eternal battlefield would send it away. It quickly flew into the distance, the gate rotated, and the undead gaze followed like a shadow. Lin Moyu didn't move, simply chuckling softly, "You can't escape." A drop of blood appeared in Lin Moyu's hand. Green blood. The essence blood of the god of poison. Lin Moyu had a lot of it. Skill. Corpse explosion. Corpse explosion fusion degree 20% detonates a corpse or remains, dealing damage equal to 20% of the target's pre-death health within a 100-meter radius. With an attack range of 8,000 meters, Lin Moyu had firmly locked onto the Dragon King. Using the god of poison's essence blood to cast corpse explosion was equivalent to a full-force strike from the god of poison. The essence blood of the god of poison in his hand turned into a wisp of smoke and disappeared. The Dragon King, fleeing rapidly, suddenly felt a fatal threat, as if it had been targeted by an extremely terrifying existence. "I'm going to die," a thought suddenly flashed through the Dragon King's mind. Then, its body silently exploded, green poisonous gas engulfing it. It watched as its own limbs were corroded by the poisonous gas, its prized defense and elemental immunity as fragile as tofu in the face of the poison. Consciousness was annihilated in the poisonous gas, and even its soul was erased, leaving no trace of its existence. Chapter 592, You will all die sooner or later. Killed Dragon King, experience plus ***. General star +1. Killing the Dragon King granted 90 billion experience. General star increased by 1, the phantom of the general star on the sergeant's badge appeared for several seconds before slowly disappearing again. To be promoted to a 4-star divine general, one needed to kill 4 god-level enemies. Having previously poisoned a clone of the Black Sky Demon King, and now killing the Dragon King of the dragon race, it was halfway done. Kill 2 more god-level beings, and he could be promoted to a 4-star divine general. At the moment of the Dragon King's death, Lin Moyu felt a law appear out of nowhere. The law sent a portion of the Dragon King's soul power into his body, turning it into his own soul power. Soul power increased, and experience also increased. This was the root of killing monsters to level up. Lin Moyu couldn't sense the laws before, but now he could. Strengthening the soul was the most fundamental thing. If there were any potions that could enhance the soul, they could directly increase levels. As Lin Moyu learned more, he could see the essence of many things. Lin Moyu's soul essence was already high enough, what he needed was a large infusion of soul energy. With enough soul energy, even if Lin Moyu instantly reached level 89 or even became a god, it would be perfectly normal. After all, he had completed what was needed to become a god, moving the 2 skill star cores into his soul world. But then again, even if there were a lot of soul energy for Lin Moyu now, enough to make him a god on the spot, Lin Moyu wouldn't do it. He was still thinking about the 3 flames in the talent world. Before moving the talent flames into his soul, he didn't want to become a god. Once he became a god, the door to the talent world would be difficult to open again, only able to enjoy the small amount of talent power flowing out from the cracks. Although having 3 talents would still make him stronger than other gods, this wasn't what Lin Moyu wanted. If he was going to do it, he would do it best. With the Dragon King dead, its corpse and bones gone, a fist-sized crystal dropped out of the poisonous gas. Being able to remain intact in the poisonous gas was obviously a good thing. Lin Moyu knew what it was. Dragon crystal, the most precious thing in the Dragon King's body. It was also what he needed. He reached out and sucked the dragon crystal into his hand. Then he took out the Staff of Genesis and made contact with the dragon crystal. The life core on the Staff of Genesis derived the power of law to wrap the dragon crystal. The solid dragon crystal was immediately melted, merging with the life core. The life core was made of dragon crystals. After being damaged, it only needed to absorb enough dragon crystals to recover. After absorbing a dragon crystal, the life core looked a little brighter. The surging divine power of life within it also increased a lot. Lin Moyu felt it and muttered to himself, "It's recovered about 10%. Absorbing dozens more dragon crystals should be enough to fully recover. If I could get the dragon crystal of the Dragon Emperor, it might be enough." Lin Moyu's words were a bit whimsical. Killing the Dragon Emperor to get its dragon crystal was something not even the God of Life would have thought of back then. The God of Life was just a high-level god, but the Dragon Emperor was a half-step beyond god-level existence. Lin Moyu also didn't understand how the God of Life got so many dragon crystals to create the life core back then. Wouldn't that stingy Dragon Emperor chase after her? I really don't know what happened back then. After absorbing the dragon crystal, the Dragon King was truly gone, body and bones. Lin Moyu had finished the battle, but the battle between the Jalan Guild and the crab boss was still going on. A group of people were stunned watching Lin Moyu fight. Even the skills of their subordinates stopped. Lin Moyu put on a good show for them. How a level 70 human professional single killed a Dragon King of the dragon race. Moreover, throughout the whole process, Lin Moyu was calm and collected, forming a sharp contrast with the dragon race's Dragon King's embarrassment. The dragon race's Dragon King had no power to fight back in front of Lin Moyu, and was suppressed from beginning to end. This person is too strong. When did our human race produce such a powerful professional? Have we been in the eternal battlefield for too long, and have we become out of touch with this world? It's okay, we've only been here for 3 years. I guess he might be a god-level powerhouse who used some special item to suppress his level to level 70. Oh, what nonsense are you talking about? He is General Lin. What General Lin? You say he is a general? Such a young general. You can find out about General Lin's news when you return to Divine Summer Ancient City. Everyone discussed as if a pot had exploded, and the skills in their hands had completely stopped. Only 4 knights were still surrounding the crab boss, and the healers were still healing non-stop. Once the skills stopped, the boss's vitality began to recover rapidly. Lin Moyu was a little speechless. If you don't fight, the boss will recover. The undead gaze in the air had not disappeared, and the door turned to look at the crab boss. The crab boss let out a scream, and its aura quickly weakened. The vitality that had just recovered disappeared in an instant, even weaker than before. Lin Moyu only made such an attack and stopped. He wouldn't do anything to steal someone else's boss. The people from the Jalan Guild realized that they were still fighting the boss. They returned to their senses and threw skills at the boss again. After attacking with all their strength for several minutes, they finally killed the boss. At this time, Lin Moyu had long disappeared. Lin Moyu flew in the meteorite continent. Level 70 itself had the ability to fly. However, Lin Moyu still preferred to use the lightning undead wings. Compared to flying on his own, the lightning undead wings were faster. In the meteorite continent, the dangerous meteorites were nothing to him. Even the most powerful meteorite was only equivalent to a pseudo-god strike, and could not cause him any harm. So Lin Moyu could unscrupulously travel through the meteorite continent at the fastest speed. As for the bosses on the meteorite continent, he didn't care about them even more. It's fine if they don't provoke him, but if they do, just the Skeleton King is enough to send these bosses back to wait for rebirth. In the Dragon Clan world, the bells rang. This was the Dragon King's death knell, which only rang when the Dragon King fell. For a long time, the Dragon King's death knell had not rung. But recently, in this past year, the Dragon King's death knell had rung again and again. Seeking fresh flowers 0 AAA. Each time it rang, it represented the fall of a Dragon King. Although the Dragon Clan had a large number, the Dragon Kings were also limited. It was not easy to become a Dragon King, and the Dragon Clan could not stand to have one fall from time to time. Suddenly, golden light radiated in the air, and a dragon shadow appeared. Not a giant dragon, but a Chinese divine dragon. The image of the Chinese divine dragon was revered as the ancestral dragon in the Dragon Clan. And the giant dragon was second to it. All Dragon Clans hoped that their bloodline would return to their ancestors and become ancestral dragons. The return of ancestral bloodline was especially precious. They had the opportunity to become a group of ancestral dragons. If there was no return of ancestral bloodline, then no matter how hard they tried, it would be useless. The current Dragon Emperor possessed the return of ancestral bloodline, and was the strongest member of the return of ancestral bloodline. At this time, the ancestral dragon phantom that ran through the Dragon Clan was issued by the Dragon Emperor. The Dragon Emperor's voice rang out in the roar. The culprit for the fall of this Dragon King is the human Lin Moyu. At this moment, he is in the meteorite continent. If any Dragon King can kill him, this Emperor will reward him with a drop of ancestral dragon's essence blood. This Emperor bestows a tracking crystal. If there is anyone who wants to go, they can receive it in front of the eternal teleportation array. 0. The entire Dragon Clan boiled. The ancestral dragon's essence blood could give them the opportunity to awaken the return of ancestral bloodline, and have the opportunity to reproduce at least the glory of the ancestral dragon. The dragon clan began to act, and all the dragon kings were eager to try. Before, there was no reward, and some dragon kings were still disobeying the dragon emperor's orders. But now with the ancestral dragon bloodline as a reward, the dragon kings began to truly act. In the dragon emperor's palace, Taran and Tatar, the two brothers, knelt on the ground at the same time. They came to the dragon emperor's palace again to meet the dragon emperor. Their hearts were uneasy, and they shivered, not knowing what the dragon emperor had summoned them for. The dragon emperor said in a low voice, "Do you know what this emperor called you here for?" The two shook their heads, not knowing. The dragon emperor said, "You also heard this emperor's order just now." The two nodded, "Heard it. We will also go to the meteorite continent to find Lin Mo Yu." The dragon emperor chuckled lightly, "There will be many dragon kings going to the meteorite continent, you don't need to go. This time I called you here, is to ask you for something." The two brothers looked at each other, they didn't know what they had that the dragon emperor needed. The dragon emperor, as the emperor of the dragon clan, is supreme, what does he not have? The dragon emperor said, "This emperor's reward for Lin Mo Yu this time, with the ancestral dragon's essence blood as a reward, the ancestral dragon's essence blood is very precious, this emperor is a little reluctant." The faces of the two changed greatly, knowing what the dragon emperor was going to do. But it was too late, a huge force descended from the sky and landed on the two. The two instantly shattered and turned into a blood mist. The flesh and blood were annihilated, and finally formed 2 drops of essence blood. Each drop of essence blood was the size of a head, and there seemed to be a divine dragon roaring in the essence blood. The dragon emperor smiled incomparably gloomy, being injured by Antares is difficult to heal, only with the ancestral dragon's essence blood can it be treated. The other drop will be used as a reward. Lin Mo Yu Lin Mo Yu, this emperor does not hesitate to kill 2 dragon clans with the bloodline of the ancestral dragon for you, you should feel proud. If the return of ancestral bloodline becomes a dragon king, there is a chance to be promoted to dragon emperor again. But how can this emperor let you have the opportunity to threaten this emperor? So, you will all die sooner or later. 3. Chapter 593 Dangerous Streamer, Mobile Copy. Every dragon clan knows that the return of ancestral bloodline is very rare. And it is even more difficult for the return of ancestral bloodline to become a dragon king. It may not appear in several hundred years. And even if the dragon clan with the return of ancestral bloodline becomes a dragon king, it will be targeted by the abyss or the human race and intercepted. It is said that there have been several dragon kings with the return of ancestral bloodline in the history of the dragon clan, who died like this. But no one knows that in fact, most of the return of ancestral bloodline were killed by the dragon emperor. The dragon emperor himself is the return of ancestral bloodline, so he naturally knows the power of the return of ancestral bloodline, afraid that someone will threaten his position. Secondly, killing the dragon clan with the return of ancestral bloodline, extracting the essence of the bloodline, is a great tonic for him. So over the years, none of the return of ancestral bloodline has been able to grow up. The dragon clan has long become the dragon emperor's one-man show. The dragon emperor did it very secretly, and threw all the spearheads to the abyss demons and the human race. This also makes the originally hostile races, the contradictions are constantly deepening. Becoming the return of ancestral bloodline is the dream of every dragon clan member. For the return of ancestral bloodline, they can do anything. But no one knows that once they become the return of ancestral bloodline, then what awaits them will also be the dragon emperors. 640, Harvest. Under the allure of the ancestral bloodline, the dragon race stirred, frantically surging towards meteorite continent. In an instant, a large number of dragon race members entered the lower space, heading to meteorite continent. There were 2 ways to get to meteorite continent. One was for the dragon kings to directly go to the deep space, then return to the lower space through the space-time channel, and then go to meteorite continent. The second was to let their subordinates who had not reached the god level go to the lower space and directly arrive at meteorite continent. After discovering Lin Mo, they would summon them over. Most dragon kings chose the second method. Lin Mo only took half a day to reach the center of meteorite continent. Here, meteorites were extremely dense, with one falling almost every few minutes. A peculiar sight appeared here. Within a radius of 10,000 meters, there were more than 10 world bosses living together. Each world boss had its own territory, ranging from tens of kilometers to thousands of kilometers in radius. Where else could you find more than 10 world bosses crammed into a small area? Each of these world bosses only occupied a small area, without interfering with each other, let alone attacking each other, and there was even a hint of friendliness. After Lin Mo arrived at the center, he did not rush into the territories of these bosses. Even he did not want to face more than a dozen level 88 and 89 world bosses at the same time. These world bosses could survive in the center of Meteorite continent, and even if they had not reached the god level, their strength would not be much weaker than the god level. It's not that he couldn't beat them, but it was unnecessary. Lin Mo's goal on this Meteorite continent was not to kill bosses. After observing for a moment, Lin Mo discovered that these bosses still had a sense of territory, but there was no competition. When meteorites fell, the bosses would capture them. Whichever territory it fell into, it belonged to that boss, and there would be no competition. Each boss had its own area. Sometimes, 2 or more meteorites would fall in the same area at the same time, and the boss in this area could only capture one of them, and the other would land. They would rather let one of the meteorites fall to the ground, allowing mushroom clouds to rise, and other bosses would not come over. They had formed their own rules, clearly defined. In the hour that Lin Mo observed, this had happened many times. The power of the meteorites here was relatively large, close to the god level, or even reaching the god level. After the explosion, the bosses would also be injured. However, these superficial injuries could be recovered in a few seconds. These bosses had long been tempered and were indifferent to meteorite explosions. They constantly absorbed the energy from the star crystals, making themselves stronger and stronger. Lin Mo didn't know if any of the bosses here had evolved to the god level over the years. And the bosses didn't seem to react to Lin Mo, an outsider. What they cared more about was the falling meteorites. Strengthening and evolving were the top priorities in their instincts. Everything else had to take a back seat. Flying around this area, he didn't find the Dragon King Palace. The Origin Rune did not sense anything, and the Origin Secret Realm was not here either. He wasn't disappointed. Meteorite continent was so big, it wouldn't be so easy to find. Lin Mo began to search Meteorite continent, drawing circles with this area as the center. With a limit of 10,000 meters, each circle would expand by 10,000 meters in diameter, so that there would be no omissions. In Meteorite continent, even flying bosses would not fly in the air as recklessly as Lin Mo. If you were hit head-on by a meteorite, it would be no joke. Lin Mo flew in circles, encountering many bosses. Most of the bosses did not attack him. Occasionally, a few ignorant ones were quickly dealt with by Lin Mo. Lin Mo's strength was different now. Even god-level beings could be killed. World bosses only survived a little longer by virtue of their powerful vitality. There were also some secret realm dungeons on Meteorite continent. As long as the Origin Rune did not react, and it was not the Origin Secret Realm, Lin Mo was too lazy to enter. As for the dungeons, Lin Mo would also take a look. If it was not the Dragon King Palace dungeon, Lin Mo had no intention of entering. This time, his purpose was very clear. To enter the Dragon King Palace dungeon in the Origin Secret Realm. Everything else could be put aside for now. A day later, Lin Mo saw a strange light in the distance. The light flowed like a river on the earth, reflecting colorful streamers into the sky, which was very beautiful. At the moment of seeing the light, Lin Mo also felt a strange aura. Similar to a dragon, but not a dragon. It's a bit like the aura of the dragon race, but it's different. It's closer to the aura of the dragon race's ancestral bloodline, and it's a bit like Antares' aura. In 2 days, Lin Mo had flown over nearly half of Meteorite continent. Accelerating forward, he was surprised to find that these lights, like rivers, were actually moving forward on the ground, and their speed was not slow. These lights gathered but did not disperse, as if they were substantial, forming a river of light, covering an area of about 100 meters. In the center of the light was a small palace, and in front of the palace was a dungeon vortex. At this time, Lin Mo was almost 100% sure that the constantly moving dungeon in front of him was the Dragon King Palace. I didn't expect the Dragon King Palace dungeon to be mobile. No wonder it's hard to find. A mobile dungeon, and it's very fast. If you don't find the right direction, you may miss it. In this way, his luck was not bad. At this moment, a meteorite fell, hitting the streamer where the Dragon King Palace dungeon was located. There was no explosion as expected. The meteorite was like a clay ox entering the sea, and not even a ripple was splashed. Lin Mo's heart tightened. This seemingly beautiful streamer was not safe. Before the meteorite was about to hit, an invisible giant hand suddenly appeared in the streamer and grabbed the meteorite. Yes, the meteorite did not smash in, but was grabbed into the streamer at the last moment. It was just that its speed was too fast, and it was impossible to see it without careful observation. Lin Mo also noticed this because his soul was strong enough and his senses were keen. Lin Mo, who originally wanted to fly over, stopped immediately and did not rush over. In the case of uncertainty, Lin Mo decided to wait and see. Anyway, the Dragon King Palace has been found, and there is no hurry to enter. The detection spell flew out and entered the streamer and the dungeon vortex respectively. The detection spell that flew into the dungeon vortex successfully returned the information. This dungeon was indeed the Dragon King Palace dungeon. However, the detection spell that entered the streamer, like the meteorite, was like a clay ox entering the sea without any feedback. Even the detection spell was swallowed. Lin Mo felt that the streamer was even more terrifying. The streamer carried the Dragon King Palace 3.1 dungeon forward on Meteorite Continent, and it was also drawing circles on the earth like Lin Mo. Soon, it encountered a world boss on its way forward. It looked like it was a world boss of about level 80 to 82. On Meteorite Continent, this level of world boss could only be considered a weakling. It was originally motionless, its huge head looking at the sky, waiting for meteorites. But when the streamer approached, it was suddenly awakened, and then fled in panic, avoiding it from a distance. Bosses of this level have the instinct to seek advantages and avoid disadvantages. It seems that this streamer is really dangerous, and even world bosses avoid it. Lin Mo followed the streamer all the way, and encountered several world bosses along the way. As a result, they all avoided the streamer. Lin Mo even saw fear in their eyes. The danger of the streamer seemed to exceed imagination. World bosses did not dare to try. Lin Mo's eyes were slightly hesitant. Let's try it. It's not good to just follow like this. 100 headless knights swooped down from the sky towards the Dragon King Palace dungeon. Chapter 594. Then bursted and enter the Dragon King Palace. The headless knight activated his charge skill, transforming into a streak of light and rushing towards the Dragon King Palace dungeon at a speed of 3,000 meters per second. Its speed was slightly inferior to a meteor, but not by much. However, its quantity was 100 times greater than a single meteor. If the streak of light is a type of monster, let us see how many it can handle at once. The headless knight's targets were not the same point, but covered all directions of the streak of light. Just as they approached the streak of light, a halo suddenly appeared within it. A dazzling rainbow appeared within the streak of light, and then 100 knights simultaneously disappeared into the rainbow. Like the meteors, as the headless knights were about to fall into the streak of light, an invisible giant hand appeared within it, dragging the 100 headless knights inside. In reality, the headless knights did not actively touch the streak of light, but were grabbed into it. The charge skill also failed to exert its proper power. Lin Mo closed his eyes slightly, instantly connecting to the headless knight's vision. All summoned creatures could provide Lin Mo with vision, but the summoned creature's vision was different from what the naked eye saw, more of a kind of perception, slightly blurred. The headless knights seemed to have entered a strange space, which was not large. After the 100 headless knights entered, they occupied about 1% of the space. A vast power, carrying destruction, pressed in from all directions. The headless knights struggled and resisted in this space. The squeezing power possessed control and other negative statuses. The headless knights possessed immunity skills, so all controls were ineffective against them. Lin Mo had the headless knights activate a group defense skill. The auras of the 100 knights connected into one, and their skill defense greatly increased. Although the headless knights could not break the space and could not escape. The omnipresent destructive power in the space took a full 5 minutes to eliminate the headless knights. The moment the headless knights died, they were reborn in the summoning space. Even the independent space within the streak of light could not stop Lin Mo's skills. After this test, Lin Mo was fairly certain that the streak of light was some kind of peculiar creature. It possessed a peculiar independent space within its body, capable of swallowing everything inside, thereby eliminating it. No, it could also be called digesting it. The space possessed a trace of the power of law, even the detection skill was swallowed, so no information could be obtained. But this space was not infinite. The 100 headless knights charged around in the space, and had already explored the size of the space. About 9,000 to 10,000 headless knights should be able to burst this space. Since that is the case, then EALL burst you. Having already experimented, even if they failed, and the undead were swallowed and killed in the space, they would not truly die, and could still be resurrected in the summoning space. Since that was the case, Lin Moi had no more concerns. The undead army emerged in response. The headless knights plus the skeletons totaled 120,000, a dark mass that looked like a black cloud. Then, the black cloud pressed down, rushing towards the streak of light below. The streak of light immediately reacted, and a rainbow appeared again. The rainbow was like a giant mouth, swallowing all the undead that rushed down. Lin Moi kept paying attention, constantly feeling the information transmitted back by the undead. A large number of headless knights entered the streak of light's independent space, and then activated group defense. The group defense skill possessed stackable characteristics, and would become stronger as the number of headless knights increased. When 100 headless knights used this skill before, they lasted for several minutes. Now that thousands of headless knights used this skill together, they would last even longer. However, because the independent space was difficult to break through, they would eventually be defeated and eliminated no matter how long they persisted. Lin Moi certainly knew this, but what he wanted now was to burst the independent space, reaching its limit. In the blink of an eye, more than 10,000 undead army rushed into the independent space, occupying every corner of the independent space. The energy shield formed by the group defense filled the independent space to the brim. At this time, Lin Moi gave an order, and all the undead launched an attack on the streak of light. If they had attacked the streak of light before, it would have been absorbed by the independent space within it, and would not have worked at all. But now that the independent space was full, it could no longer absorb. The attack immediately exerted its proper effect. After reaching level 70, the skeleton archmage himself became a legendary grade, and his skill was also upgraded to elemental riot, exactly the same skill as the skeleton king. Although his attack power was not as good as the skeleton king, it was much stronger than before. The elements rumbled, constantly exploding on the streak of light. The skeleton marksman also drew his bow to the fullest, and the sharp arrows flew out, disappearing into the air only half a second after flying out. As they themselves became legendary grade, their skills also changed. Before, it was only soul lock, so that the attack would not miss. Now, on the basis of soul lock, it has become soul assassination. It still has the characteristics of soul lock, and at the same time, the attack has changed from physical damage to soul damage. This change made the skeleton marksman a big improvement, and his attack power greatly increased. The skeleton berserker and the remaining headless knights also launched a fierce attack on the streak of light. The strong offensive caused the calm streak of light to constantly set off waves. For a time, the streak of light was full of colors, and various colors of light flashed. Sometimes the light would rise into the sky, forming a colorful waterfall and falling again. Sometimes it was like a river overflowing, stirring up dust on the earth. Lin Moi was dazzled. Having fought so many monster bosses, he had never seen any monster that would burst out such complex colors. The colors exploded like bubbles, and Lin Moi felt chaotic elemental auras amidst the splendor. There were all kinds of elements, incredibly chaotic. Other bosses had one or two elements, unlike this peculiar monster in front of him, which actually possessed so many attributes. The battle only lasted for 2 minutes, and the streak of light's bearing capacity reached its limit. It suddenly transformed into a huge colorful bubble, and then exploded with a bang. All the undead army that had been swallowed were blown out at this moment. It did not die. At the moment the bubble exploded, it shrank sharply, and actually shrank into the Dragon King Palace dungeon, disappearing without a trace. Only a small palace was left on the ground, and a dungeon vortex in front of the palace. Then the palace also flew into the dungeon vortex with a whoosh and disappeared. Escaped. Lin Moi was slightly stunned. He did not expect that this special monster would escape into the Dragon King Palace dungeon. Before escaping, it also spit out all the undead army it had eaten into its stomach. Lin Moi clicked his tongue in wonder. The world is really full of wonders, there would actually be this kind of monster. It finally transformed into a bubble, which looked not only like light, but also like a gelatinous substance. It's just that the light on the surface is too strong, covering the essence, looking like a thin stream of light. Lin Moi stood on the ground and saw a depression of about a few millimeters on the ground, indicating that this monster was still a bit thick and also had weight. This further confirmed his guess. If it was all composed of light, it should be very thin and have no weight. The Dragon King Palace dungeon was close at hand. Through the vortex, he could feel the complex aura transmitted from inside the dungeon. Enter or not enter? The answer was certain: he must enter. He must do what he promised Antares. Even if it was a bit dangerous inside, he had to go in and see. Antares did say that there was danger, but he also said that with Lin Moi's ability, he should have no problem saving his life. Lin Moi took a deep breath, took out the Dragon King token, and communicated with the dungeon vortex with his consciousness. The dungeon vortex emitted a soft light, enveloping Lin Moi. The small and exquisite Dragon King token also emitted a soft light, resonating with the vortex of the dungeon. In the next second, Lin Moi was sucked into the dungeon vortex and disappeared. Not long after Lin Moi entered the dungeon, several powerful auras rose from afar. A group of top Dragon Clan professionals flew over. They landed in front of the dungeon entrance and said in a deep voice, "The aura has disappeared, he has entered the dungeon. This is the Dragon King's Hall dungeon. I didn't expect Lin Moi to obtain the Dragon King token. With his ability, it's normal for him to obtain the Dragon King token. It's a pity that the Dragon King token fell into the hands of a human. The Dragon King's Hall dungeon should have belonged to our Dragon Clan, but we can't enter, and a human has entered instead. What a joke. Once you enter the Dragon King's Hall dungeon, you can't just come out whenever you want. Let's retreat and guard first, and if Lin Moi comes out, we'll summon the Dragon King." After discussing for a while, the dragons retreated several thousand meters and guarded from a distance. They wanted to kill Lin Moi, but they were also afraid of him. Lin Moi's strength had already spread throughout the Dragon Clan. Even the Dragon King was defeated by Lin Moi, let alone them. They only dared to be summoners, nothing more. Some even hoped that Lin Moi would die in the Dragon King's Hall. In the history of their Dragon Clan, many geniuses had fallen in the Dragon King's Hall. Chapter 595, I will start attacking in 10 seconds. Entering the Dragon King's Hall, all kinds of auras rushed towards him. Lin Moi felt all kinds of elements from it, and the elements were mixed with the aura of the Dragon Clan. These auras intertwined with each other, chaotic and disorderly. This dungeon is not normal. Lin Moi felt an unusual aura. This dungeon was different from other dungeons. It didn't seem to be a dungeon specifically for people to conquer. Moreover, the Dragon King token was very difficult to obtain, and few people in human history had been able to obtain it. This shows that very few people are qualified to enter the dungeon. So what is the meaning of the dungeon's existence? Dungeons can create countless branches at the same time, allowing countless people to enter together, yet each is independent and does not interfere with each other. But the current dungeon allows very few people to enter, and almost no two people will enter at the same time. Not to mention at the same time, it may not even welcome two people at the same time for several years or decades. Then the meaning of the Dragon King's Hall dungeon is not quite right. But it exists, and existence is reasonable. Lin Moi thought a lot at once. He liked to explore the root of things too much, getting to the bottom of everything. It had already become an instinct. Roar. The roar of a dragon interrupted Lin Moi's thoughts. In the roar, Lin Moi saw a green dragon flying over. The dragon was more than 20 meters long, and its wingspan was more than 40 meters, which was very huge. It hovered in the air, breathing out green dragon breath with every breath. This was a real dragon, not a Dragon Clan member. Body like a lizard, with wings. Lin Moi muttered in his heart, he wasn't seeing a dragon for the first time. He had seen it several times during skill awakening. He had also seen dragons die in the hands of skeletons several times. So he had no fear of dragons at all. The green dragon looked at him, and he looked at the green dragon, big eyes staring at small eyes. Human. The green dragon roared. From just these two words, Lin Moi could hear that the dragon seemed to look down on humans very much. At the same time, it also carried a hint of hatred. This guy is not easy to get along with. Lin Moi had already labeled the green dragon accordingly. But on the surface, Lin Moi still said politely, "Greetings, respected dragon." The green dragon glared at Lin Moi with its big eyes. No matter how polite you are, this dragon will not hold back. Lin Moi chuckled in his heart. He never thought of asking the other party to hold back. The green dragon's voice boomed in the dungeon. Now this dragon will tell you the rules of the first level of the Dragon King's Hall. In this level, you will face 6 rounds of challenges, composed of this dragon and 4 other dragons. Only by defeating us can you enter the next level. You are now level 70, so this dragon will control its power at the level 75 level. Listening to its words, Lin Moi roughly guessed that the Dragon King's Hall seemed to be a dungeon similar to an assessment. Moreover, it was not just about fighting monsters and passing levels, but also about dragons with intelligence, who could think and speak, guarding the level. Seeing that Lin Moi didn't speak, the green dragon added, although this dragon doesn't like humans, and even hates humans, this dragon will still act according to the rules of the Dragon King's Hall, and will not hold back, nor will it deliberately make things difficult for you. Did you understand what this dragon said? Lin Moi nodded, understood, but I have a question, where did the monsters outside the dungeon go before? The green dragon's dragon eyes narrowed slightly, seeming a little unhappy. That was the first test to enter the dungeon. If you can't even pass that test, you are not qualified to come in. At this time, a lump of mud-like thing appeared on top of the green dragon's head. This lump of mud didn't look big, only a little bigger than a normal person's head, soft and elastic, with flowing light and color. When it saw Lin Moi, it shrank back all of a sudden, as if it was a little scared. After all, Lin Moi had injured it just now, and if it hadn't escaped quickly, it might have been killed. Lin Moi recognized it at a glance. This mud-like thing was the flowing light that had been running around with the dungeon outside before. Its main body was actually such a thing. It looked a little cute from a distance. But in fact, it was a terrible monster that could eat anything. If it hadn't met Lin Moi, it wouldn't have been easy for others to pass its level. The green dragon's patience was obviously not very good. Okay, now you can go to the arena in front, this dragon will wait for you there. After the green dragon finished speaking, it turned and flew away, its dragon wings flapping, rumbling and deafening. The dungeon was even more howling with strong winds. The wind was so strong that it could blow level 80 professionals off their feet. But it had no effect on Lin Moi, who let Lin Moi's attributes be too high, and he didn't suffer from various negative states. Seeing that Lin Moi was fine, the green dragon was slightly surprised. Lin Moi was clear in his heart. This guy kept saying that he wouldn't deliberately target him, but just these 2 things were targeting him. Saying that the assessment was based on his own level, who knew if this guy would secretly do something, he still had to be careful. Lin Moi could see that the green dragon's strength was actually very strong, it should be beyond the god level. From its words, he could hear that it was responsible for the first level assessment. The level it displayed was about 5 levels higher than the assessor. If it was an level 89 professional, or even a god-level professional who came in. If the green dragon's own strength was not enough, what would it do? Lin Moi guessed that the green dragon might secretly do something, but he wasn't very scared. At worst, he would make a mess. He touched the dragon scale in his pocket, which Antares had given him before leaving. If there was real danger, he could leave through the dragon scale at any time. The dragon scales contained Antares' supreme power. Lin Mo believed that in the lower space, no one could surpass Antares. Therefore, Lin Mo was not worried about his life at all. If worst came to worst, he had ways to fight to the death with his opponent. In front of him was a staircase. Lin Mo swept his eyes, a full 100 steps. With a thought, Lin Mo summoned the lightning undead wings, wanting to fly up. But the lightning undead wings did not appear. At the same time, Lin Mo was unable to fly. Just as he wanted to fly, a force of law descended upon him. Anti-air. Lin Mo felt the power of anti-air. Helpless, he could only walk step by step. If they don't allow flying, it's estimated that there's also a problem with these steps. Having experienced many assessment dungeons and secret realms, Lin Mo realized that these steps were definitely part of the assessment. Before even entering the dungeon, it seemed the assessment had already begun. Lin Mo took a step, and as his foot touched the step, it lit up, and a halo rose from the step. The halo contained a huge thrust, hitting Lin Mo's foot, wanting to push Lin Mo away. Lin Mo exerted a little force, instantly shattering the halo, firmly stepping on the step. The halo shattered, and the step also dimmed down. A diaresis A is expected. Walking the steps is also part of the test. If I'm not mistaken, the thrust will become stronger and stronger. But this little thrust, Lin Mo didn't take it seriously. With his attributes, such a small thrust was nothing at all. If it were another mage-type class, because their inherent strength attribute is weak, to resist the thrust, they would either use mental power or rely on equipment. But for Lin Mo Yu, his strength attribute was already as high as 300,000, completely comparable to a level 70 warrior. Plus the Monarch Scepter's 500,000 strength attribute bonus. His strength attribute was comparable to even a legendary warrior fully equipped with divine gear. A mere halo was nothing at all. Lin Mo Yu's steps were exceptionally firm, step after step upward. Each halo was shattered by his foot, without any difficulty. The 100 steps, the thrust became greater the further he went, and by the 100th step, it was about 3 times greater than at the first step. But faced with Lin Mo Yu's immense strength, it was still shattered with a single step. Lin Mo Yu effortlessly walked onto the arena. On the huge arena, the green dragon had been waiting for a long time. Originally, it wanted to see Lin Mo Yu's embarrassed appearance, but what it saw was Lin Mo Yu looking calm and composed. Lin Mo Yu's performance puzzled it, and for a moment it felt its dragon brain was not working well enough. Lin Mo Yu was clearly a mage, why was he so relaxed? Shouldn't a mage's strength attribute be very weak? These 100 steps were an assessment of strength. Although such little strength was nothing in its eyes, for a level 70 mage, it was quite difficult. Could it be that all his equipment is adding strength? But I didn't see him wearing any equipment. I can't figure it out, my dragon head hurts. The green dragon's head wasn't working too well, thinking too much gave it a headache. So it simply stopped thinking and said to Lin Mo Yu, if you can withstand my attacks for 1 minute, then you will have passed the assessment. Rest assured, I will abide by the Dragon King Palace's rules and only use an attack power 5 levels above you. I'll give you 10 seconds to prepare, and after 10 seconds I will begin attacking. Chapter 596. I hope you can be serious and go all out. Withstanding the green dragon's attacks for 1 minute. Lin Mo Yu almost blurted out, so simple. Originally, he thought he had to defeat the green dragon, it seemed the assessment difficulty wasn't as high as he thought. The 10-second countdown quickly ended, and the green dragon breathed a dragon breath towards Lin Mo Yu. Its dragon breath did not bring a strong scorching aura, but instead contained a deadly poison. Lin Mo Yu felt this aura and frowned slightly, poison. Seeing Lin Mo Yu frown, the green dragon thought Lin Mo Yu was about to give up and let out a deafening laugh. Human kid, just say if you can't hold on, don't force yourself. Don't blame me if you force yourself to death. As it spoke, it spewed out another breath of dragon breath, strengthening the poison. The poison spread across the arena, and since flying was forbidden here, there was nowhere to escape. For other professionals, there was only one way to go, to endure it. Enduring it for a minute, it was neither difficult nor easy. But Lin Mo Yu, standing in the poisonous dragon breath, Lin Mo Yu was calm and composed, apart from the initial frown, he didn't even react. The green dragon was stunned, what the hell? It once again spewed out a dragon breath, the poison was even more concentrated, reaching the level 75 limit. As long as it was a little bit stronger, it would break the level 75 boundary. The Dragon King Palace has rules, and the green dragon cannot violate them. Doing something secretly was also not so easy to do. Lin Mo Yu still had no reaction, just quietly standing in the poisonous gas, waiting for the time to pass. With 100% poison immunity, even the poison god's poison couldn't hurt him, let alone the green dragon's little bit of poison. A minute passed in the blink of an eye. The green dragon took a deep breath with doubt, absorbing all the poisonous gas on the field, and then called out with a strange expression, what the hell are you? Lin Mo Yu smiled slightly, thank you, Dragon King, for your mercy. When the green dragon spewed out its dragon breath just now, some aura was revealed. Lin Mo Yu felt its aura, and it had indeed reached the god level. According to the dragon race's rules, reaching the god level meant being a dragon king, so Lin Mo Yu called it Dragon King. Moreover, this place was also called the Dragon King Palace Dungeon, so calling it Dragon King should be correct. Contrary to expectations, the green dragon snorted, I am not those low-level goods of the dragon race, I am a giant dragon, do you understand giant dragon? Lin Mo Yu heard the green dragon's disdain in its words. Antares once said that the human race was more advanced than the dragon race. As for where they were more advanced, Antares didn't elaborate. If the human race was advanced, then the dragon race was low level. This was the second time he had heard similar words. The green dragon also called the dragon race low-level goods, full of disdain. Then how should I address you? Lin Mo Yu asked. The green dragon said, I am a branch of the elemental giant dragons. As for my name, you are not qualified to know it yet. You can call me Green Dragon, of course, you can also call me Lord Green Dragon. Although the green dragon was initially a little disgusted with the human race, it now seemed to have acknowledged him. After all, Lin Moyu had passed its assessment. Lord, Lin Moyu hadn't even called Antares Lord. What qualifications did the green dragon in front of him have? Lin Moyu directly opened his mouth. May I ask what my next assessment is? The green dragon said loudly, the first round, first match, counts as you passing, the second match assessment will begin soon. You wait here, your assessment will begin soon. Saying that, the green dragon flew away from the assessment platform, flying towards the distance, disappearing from sight in the blink of an eye. Before long, the green dragon's roar faintly came from afar. Stop sleeping, wake up, you bum, someone's entered the dungeon. Hurry to the test, or the dragon god will bite you to death. Lin Moyu listened carefully, this guy seemed to be waking people up. And vaguely, he even heard about the dragon god. Lin Moyu felt he hadn't misheard. Is he waking people up? Before long, a gust of wind suddenly rose, and a cyan dragon howled from afar, its speed faster than the green dragon. The giant dragon was surrounded by wind elements, looking sleepy. Lin Moyu recognized the cyan dragon in front of him. Just like the green dragon, it was also a member of the elemental dragons, possessing the wind element attribute. No wonder I could feel such chaotic elemental aura outside the dungeon before, it should be the aura intertwined by these elemental dragons. A green dragon with poisonous elements, a cyan dragon with wind elements, could there also be dragons with fire, water, and lightning elements? While Lin Moyu was still guessing, the cyan wind dragon rubbed its eyes and yawned, so, you're the one who obtained the Dragon King token. It was obviously still not fully awake, still a bit dazed. However, it didn't seem to dislike the human race, somewhat different from the green dragon. Lin Moyu tried asking, how should I address you? The cyan wind dragon yawned again, bringing a strong wind, you can call me Azure Dragon or Wind Dragon, whatever you like, anyway, a name is just a code. This guy seemed easier to talk to. Lin Moyu tried asking again, then if there are two wind dragons, how should I address them? The cyan wind dragon shook its big head, there aren't that many wind dragons, we died early. Saying this, it suddenly closed its mouth, seemingly waking up a bit, staring at Lin Moyu with a slightly unfriendly gaze, don't ask what you shouldn't know. Next will be the start of your test, if you can withstand my attacks for 2 minutes, you will pass the test. Don't worry, according to the rules, I will control the attack within level 76, it won't exceed the limit. The time increased by 1 minute, and the attack level increased from level 75 to level 76. For other professionals, this increase in difficulty is actually quite significant. After level 70, each level increase makes a big difference. Moreover, they have to persevere for 1 more minute. But for Lin Moyu, there was no difference. Lin Moyu suddenly asked, can I fight back? The cyan dragon glanced at Lin Moyu, suit yourself. The test will start in 10 seconds, get ready. It didn't say he couldn't fight back, but it didn't believe Lin Moyu had the ability to fight back. 10 seconds later, it opened its mouth and, like the green dragon, spat out a dragon breath. Dragon breath is also the most common attack method of the dragon race. As the cyan dragon breath spewed out, a violent wind rose. The terrifying wind cut over like divine weapons, hitting Lin Moyu. The skeletal armor shone brightly, blocking the attack. Level 70 skeletal armor, amplified 80 times, equivalent to 560,000 constitution defense. It seemed more than capable when facing the dragon breath. The cyan dragon was slightly stunned, and couldn't help but spew out dragon breath again. The wind became even more violent, and the skeletal armor became even brighter. At this time, the attack had reached level 76, not far from the upper limit of the rules. The cyan dragon was somewhat unwilling. Given Lin Moyu's current situation, passing its test would be very easy. It was preparing to put in more effort and increase the attack power a bit more, reaching the true upper limit. Just as it opened its mouth, a point of white light suddenly lit up. The cyan dragon suddenly had a creepy feeling, and abruptly closed its mouth. The white light came too fast, it and Lin Moyu were too close, even it couldn't dodge in time. The skeletal spear crashed into it with astonishing tearing force. It was like hitting a metal plate, making a loud bang. The skeletal spear persisted on it for a while before disappearing. The cyan dragon looked down at the place where the skeletal spear attacked, and a tiny crack actually appeared on its solid dragon scales. The cyan dragon was shocked, looking at Lin Moyu in disbelief. It was a divine-level dragon, after all, although not the strongest in defense among the elemental dragons, it was still a divine-level dragon. This level 70 human kid in front of him could actually crack its dragon scales. This showed that the level of Lin Moyu's skill had exceeded level 85. And looking at his appearance, it was just a casual blow, not using his full strength at all. The cyan dragon realized that Lin Moyu was not simple. But on second thought, who could be simple, being able to obtain the Dragon King token? One can't use levels to measure the strength of such a person. No wonder he was so calm in the face of his dragon breath attack, even ignoring his attack. Asking if he could fight back, obviously wasn't joking either. The cyan dragon had the urge to fight Lin Moyu, but it couldn't because of the rules. Lin Moyu didn't attack again, and neither did the cyan dragon. 2 minutes passed, and the violent wind disappeared. The cyan dragon's giant eyes revealed Lin Moyu's shadow. It faced Lin Moyu squarely. "You're very good, we'll meet again later. I hope we can have a good fight then. I will suppress my strength, but I won't hold back. I hope you can also go all out then, don't disappoint me." Lin Moyu analyzed the cyan dragon's words. It seemed the test was not just this, and smiled slightly. "I will. As for whether to go all out, it depends on what the opponent is like, whether it's worth going all out." Lin Moyu didn't know what level his combat power could reach if he went all out now. At least against intermediate demon kings like the Black Sky Demon King, he had the confidence to fight them. As for existences below level 93, he could even rub them on the ground. Chapter 597. Every giant dragon has its own personality. The cyan dragon Wind Dragon left the examination hall. A ball of fire lit up in the air, and a red dragon spewing flames fell from the sky. Its voice was as fiery and straightforward as the flames. Round 1, third test. Pass if you can withstand my attacks for 3 minutes. According to the rules, my attack upper limit will not exceed level 77. The test will begin in 10 seconds. Its personality seemed to be as fiery as fire, swift and decisive. Its words implied that it wanted to finish quickly so it could go back to sleep. Its huge dragon eyes still showed traces of sleep. Obviously it had just woken up not long ago. It seemed that giant dragons all like to sleep, even existences like Antares were like this. 10 seconds later, it spewed out dragon breath like the cyan dragon and the green dragon. It directly raised its attack power to the level 77 level, without any leeway. In terms of difficulty, it seemed even more difficult than before. The entire examination hall turned into a sea of fire, with nowhere to escape. All 3 tests were like this. The test takers could only withstand them head-on. It can't be said that they can only withstand it head-on. They can't fly, but they can jump. Warrior-type professionals can completely jump into the sky continuously, thereby reducing the time they are attacked and greatly reducing the pressure. However, Lin Moyu also believed that if they jumped up, these giant dragons would definitely have ways to deal with it. They are not decorations. It's impossible for anyone to exploit loopholes. Lin Moyu didn't dodge or evade, standing within the flames, his skeletal armor gleaming, allowing the fire to scorch him. With just the skeletal armor, he could actually pass the assessment. Lin Moyu didn't plan to take action this time. After spewing a mouthful of dragon breath, Red ceased moving. Unlike Lin Moyu, it was simply too lazy to move. Its eyes were slightly narrowed, looking as if it wanted to sleep again. The man and dragon stared at each other, neither moving. Under the continuous roasting of the flames, cracks began to appear in the skeletal armor. After enduring for 30 seconds, the skeletal armor collapsed with a crisp cracking sound. However, Lin Moyu quickly replenished himself with another set of skeletal armor, almost seamlessly. The newly formed skeletal armor once again emitted a pure white, dazzling light, extremely captivating. The red dragon merely glanced at Lin Moyu, seemingly indifferent to his actions. It was truly lazy, too lazy to move. Lin Moyu felt that it was merely following regulations, unwilling to do anything extra or say any additional words. Just like that, after Lin Moyu continuously replenished his skeletal armor several times, 3 minutes passed. Red directly sucked back all the flames, not even delaying for a second, and shouted, "All right, next." It really felt like it wanted to finish quickly and go home to sleep. Lin Moyu chuckled silently. This red dragon seemed quite amusing. Each dragon has its own personality. The green poison dragon was a bit verbose and somewhat hostile towards humans. The azure wind dragon was a bit warlike but didn't harbor any ill will towards humans. The red fire dragon was simply efficient, clearly wanting to finish quickly and go back to sleep. That was the impression these dragons gave Lin Moyu, each with a distinct personality. Urged by the red dragon, a blue ice dragon, its entire body radiating blue light and overflowing with cold air, descended from the sky. The red dragon also moved away instantly, disappearing into the sky in the blink of an eye. Lin Moyu looked at the sky. The anti-air effect here seemed ineffective against the dragons. Thick clouds covered the sky, obscuring vision and hiding what lay behind them. As the blue ice dragon landed, the temperature plummeted. Previously, the fire dragon had scorched the world, and the temperature had risen very high. But now, the temperature suddenly dropped, and the rapid change from hot to cold was extremely uncomfortable. The drastic change in temperature also made Lin Moyu feel uncomfortable, and he frowned inadvertently. "Little human friend, are you feeling a bit uncomfortable?" The blue ice dragon's voice sounded. Lin Moyu was surprised. It was actually a female voice. This was a female dragon, or rather, a mother dragon. The voice was slightly gentle and even somewhat pleasant, unlike the deafening roars of the previous dragons. Lin Moyu said, "Thank you for your concern, esteemed blue dragon." Based on the information he had gathered, Lin Moyu already knew how to address them. Unfortunately, he seemed to be mistaken again. The blue dragon said softly, "I'm not called Blue Dragon, you can call me Frost Dragon, or you can call me by my name, Ellie." "Alright, esteemed Ms. Ellie." Unexpectedly, the dragon even had a name. Lin Moyu had no choice but to change his address. Ellie shook her head again, "I'm not a Ms., I haven't married yet. You should call me Miss." There were really a lot of rules, even such small details were important. The red dragon's voice suddenly came from the air, "Ellie, stop talking so much nonsense. Hurry up and assess him, I want to go back to sleep." Ellie sighed, "This guy is just so impatient." Okay, let's start the assessment then. Little human friend, you have to withstand my attacks for 4 minutes. My attacks won't exceed level 78. If you can't hold on, remember to surrender. Don't force yourself and get hurt. She kindly reminded Lin Moyu. The red dragon's voice sounded again in the air, "Surrender my ass, who can even speak when frozen?" Ellie was a little displeased and raised her head, "Please shut your mouth." Although she was a little displeased, her tone was still gentle. Her demeanor was more of a complaint than a reprimand. There was no more movement in the sky, and Ellie then said to Lin Moyu, "The assessment will begin in 10 seconds, little human friend, please be prepared." Ellie gave Lin Moyu the feeling of being like a big sister next door, with a hint of care. 10 seconds later, Ellie spoke again, "I'm going to start now." After waiting another 2 seconds, she began to spew dragon breath. Even the dragon breath she spewed was very gentle. The light blue dragon breath carried a chill and gradually covered the entire assessment field at a slow pace. This process alone had taken nearly half a minute. 1/8 of the assessment time had already passed. It could be said that Ellie was holding back. The dragon breath didn't seem strong, about level 75, similar to the initial green dragon's poisonous dragon breath. The skeletal armor glowed, easily blocking the dragon breath. A thick layer of ice formed over the vast assessment field. Ellie continued to spew dragon breath continuously and gently, the power constantly increasing, and the temperature constantly decreasing. The rate of decrease was very stable, which also revealed Ellie's precise control over her power. The whole process was understated and looked very gentle. But only Lin Moyu, who was in it, knew that there were hidden dangers beneath the seemingly gentle surface. The temperature should have exceeded -100 degrees Celsius, which could instantly freeze people into ice cubes. Among the 4 dragons, Ellie's test was the most difficult. He also understood why the red dragon said that no one could even speak to beg for mercy. If frozen, it would be impossible to open one's mouth. It was truly impossible to beg for mercy. The skeletal armor was frozen and cracked in the low temperature. This time, the skeletal armor only lasted for 15 seconds. It was half the time compared to before in the red dragon's flames. Although there was only a 1-level difference between level 78 and level 77, the damage was multiplied. At the moment the skeletal armor shattered, Lin Moyu felt a bone-chilling cold. The status immunity skill came into play, and Lin Moyu was not affected by the freezing at all. All the instantaneous damage was also transferred. Lin Moyu felt the cold slightly and had a clear understanding of the level 78 attack. He released the skeletal armor again to isolate the cold. Lin Moyu cast the skeletal armor every 15 seconds in a seamless connection. Ellie didn't hold back and always maintained the dragon breath intensity at level 78. Her eyes were filled with curiosity. "Little human friend, you are very powerful." Lin Moyu said, "Esteemed Miss Ellie, you are also very powerful." "Thank you for the compliment." Ellie giggled. If one only heard the voice, one would never guess that it was a dragon, one would think it was a young lady from a wealthy family. The 4 minutes passed quickly, and Ellie immediately withdrew the cold air. The frost on the assessment field disappeared instantly, returning to normal. Ellie didn't leave but said to Lin Moyu, "Congratulations, you have passed the first 4 rounds of the first round of assessment. As long as you pass one more round, you can complete the first round of assessment. But the 5th round of assessment is a bit difficult and dangerous, so be prepared. If there is any danger, call to stop immediately, and we will stop in time." Lin Moyu heard a key phrase, "we." It seemed that the 5th test wasn't just one dragon participating, but multiple dragons together. Sure enough, as Ellie finished speaking, the clouds in the sky rolled, and several dragons descended from the sky. Green dragon, azure dragon, red dragon, and the blue azure dragon Ellie, each occupied a corner of the arena, surrounding Lin Moyu. Chapter 598, You Have a Soul. The 4 dragons stood at the 4 corners, surrounding Lin Moyu. Ellie spoke first, "You have passed the 4 tests and have been recognized by us. Now, let me formally introduce myself. My name is Ellie, and I belong to the frost dragons among the elemental dragons." Then the green dragon said in a deep voice, "My name is Gevas, and I am the poison dragon among the elemental dragons. Lai Feng, the whirlwind dragon of the elemental dragons. Fen Tian, the flame dragon." The 4 elemental dragons introduced themselves one by one. Needless to say, it was another rule from the Dragon King's Hall dungeon. Passing the 4 tests was considered recognition by them. However, Lin Moyu didn't care whether these dragons recognized him or not, it wasn't important. Lin Moyu looked at the colorful monster on top of the green dragon's head. "What is this little thing?" The green dragon Gevas was stunned. "You actually call it a little thing? Do you know how many levels it has? You, a level 70 human, actually call it a little thing?" Its words were full of arrogance, and also a faint hostility towards the human race. Lin Moyu didn't care what it said. Strength sometimes has nothing to do with level. I have the ability to kill it, so calling it a little thing, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. The green dragon spat out poisonous gas, its appearance slightly ferocious. "Kill it. Don't think that you took advantage of a loophole outside the dungeon. You don't know how powerful it is at all. Will it participate in the 5th test?" Lin Moyu asked unceremoniously. Outside the dungeon, it was just a small test. Although he didn't know what this monster was, killing it was really not difficult. Gevas said, "Of course." Lin Moyu said, "Okay, but I still want to know what it's called." The red dragon Fen Tian shouted, "You guys talk too much nonsense, hurry up and finish the test so I can go to sleep." Ellie laughed, "It's called the Rainbow Beast, it's already level 89, and it's a friend of Gevas." The green dragon Gevas snorted and didn't continue speaking, considering Ellie's feelings. Ellie acted like a gentle elder sister. "Let me talk about the rules of the 5th test. We will besiege you, and we will control our power below level 80. You need to withstand our siege for 5 minutes to pass. If you can't hold on, you can surrender, and we will stop immediately. But based on your previous performance, I think passing the 5th test should be no problem." Lin Moyu asked, "I can fight back, right?" The green dragon sneered, "Don't even mention fighting back, you can even kill us, it just depends on whether you have the ability." Lin Moyu smiled, "I understand, I have another question." The green dragon shouted impatiently, "Why do you have so many questions? Ask questions after the fight. If you can pass the test, I will answer you. Since that's the case, then pass the test before asking." Power controlled below level 80, that is, not reaching level 80, should be the limit of level 79. Regardless of the race, level 80 is another significant leap. Attributes will be greatly improved, and new skills can be mastered. Among the human race, a top-tier level 80 professional is enough to deal with a dozen or 20 top-tier level 79 professionals. The difference of one level makes a big difference in combat power. So Lin Moyu could understand why these dragons controlled their strength below level 80. Once they reached level 80, it would be another level. This setting was indeed good, giving him a chance. It's just that they were wrong about one thing, they simply didn't know anything about Lin Moyu's strength. The Frost Dragon Ellie said, "The test will begin in 10 seconds, and the test time will last for 5 minutes. If you can't hold on, don't force yourself, just call to stop." Lin Moyu nodded, "Thank you." He could feel that Ellie was sincere and not joking. Lin Moyu put on a layer of bone armor for himself. At the 5th second, the entire arena suddenly shone brightly. A curtain was drawn, rushing from the arena straight into the sky, passing through the clouds, and forming an encirclement again at a height of several hundred meters, surrounding the entire arena. Lin Moyu only felt a lightness on his body. The air banishment is gone. A law that had always been suppressed on his body disappeared, no longer banning flight. The lightning undead wings were successfully summoned, and Lin Moyu's feet slowly left the ground. From this point, Lin Moyu saw a lot of information. The 5th test was different from the previous ones and would be a 3-dimensional test. No longer needing to passively withstand attacks, but being able to dodge. The arena was very large, with a diameter of over 1,000 meters, plus an aerial range of over 500 meters. This area was not small. Seeing Lin Moyu summon his wings and slowly ascend. The 4 dragons also ascended one after another, still surrounding Lin Moyu. The green dragon hummed and said, "Human kid, dodge quickly, don't get slapped to death by my claw." In their opinion, Lin Moyu's choice was perfectly normal. Surviving for 5 minutes was actually just escaping for 5 minutes. As for fighting back, it was impossible at all. The 10-second countdown ended, and just as the dragons were about to attack, before they could even breathe out dragon breath, they were stunned on the spot. What the hell? This guy is a summoner. A large number of headless knights appeared in the air at some point. These headless knights were menacing, each burning with silver-white flames, rushing towards them. Lin Moyu released 4,000 headless knights, 1,000 for each dragon, very fair. Being only able to exert the peak power of level 79, the headless knights were enough to cope. The rainbow beast was constantly changing shape, as if it wanted to say something, but it didn't seem to have the ability to speak and couldn't make any sound. Its expression was ignored by the dragons. The headless knights had already turned into streams of light and rushed over. Skill. Charge. In a close-range charge, the headless knights crashed into the dragons almost instantly, and the sharp swords in their hands slashed out like lightning. The sound of metal clashing was endless for a while. The dragons were actually existences beyond the god level, and their defenses were extremely strong. Even with suppressed power, their defense was still god level. The headless knights couldn't hurt them, but the power they could exert couldn't repel the headless knights either. That's exactly what Lin Moyu wanted, to surround them, to hold them back. Surrounding them for 5 minutes would be enough. These dragons had no malice towards him, and there was no need to really do anything to them. These guys are so tough. The green dragon Gevas shouted loudly, constantly spewing out poisonous dragon breath. However, with the Lich General present, the poisonous dragon breath that was only level 79 couldn't cause any damage to the headless knights. Gevas shook its dragon wings, and a pair of giant claws kept slapping the headless knights away. But there were too many headless knights, and dozens were slapped away, and new ones immediately replenished them. No matter how hard it tried, it couldn't get rid of the encirclement of the headless knights. If it were outside, it would have enough space to maneuver, but inside the assessment field, the space was limited. The other dragons were in similar situations. Ellie radiated blue light, exuding intense cold, but the headless knights possessed immunity skills, making them resistant to various negative statuses. The cyclone dragon fared slightly better, surrounded by a whirlwind that forcefully pushed the headless knights back. It used the wind to force open a path, but as soon as it flew out, the headless knight used a charge skill to ram into it again. The immense impact forced the dragon back repeatedly, and in the blink of an eye, the headless knights surrounded it again. The green dragon roared in anger, "Damn it! Where did all these summons come from? If it weren't for the rules, I'd incinerate these guys with one breath." But no matter how it yelled, it was useless, it couldn't break through. Lin Mo stood in the air, motionless. He didn't need to do anything. This assessment was no different from the previous ones, posing no pressure at all. A stream of light flew over silently. The rainbow beast, with its small size, flew out of the encirclement. Finally couldn't resist. While Lin Mo used the Headless Knights to surround the 4 dragons, he kept part of his attention on the Rainbow Beast. 4.5 This was a 1-on-5 assessment, 4 giant dragons plus the Rainbow Beast. The Rainbow Beast transformed into a stream of light and arrived in front of Lin Mo, suddenly opening its mouth to swallow Lin Mo. This should be its attack method, dragging the prey into its own independent space and then destroying it. You have a soul. Lin Mo still didn't dodge or evade, but instead said something out of the blue. Skill. Undead Gaze. The sky suddenly turned black, and night descended. The phantom of the undead world appeared with a bang, and death energy spread. A gate of flames appeared in the undead world, the silver-white flames forming a stark contrast with the dark world. What is this again? The dragons were stunned for a moment. They knew it was Lin Mo's skill, but they didn't know what skill could make such a huge sound. The eye of the undead appeared in the gate. The Rainbow Beast's body, which had just opened, collapsed with a bang. It turned back into a head-sized ball and shrank back to the top of the green dragon's head with a whoosh. A single gaze from the eye of the undead caused considerable damage to the Rainbow Beast's soul. Even a god-level expert would feel pain under the undead gaze, let alone an existence at level 85. Chapter 599. You can't reason with words, you have to use fists. The undead gaze did not launch a soul attack on the 4 dragons. It just stayed in midair, allowing the silver flames to burn fiercely. The dragons could feel the terror of the gate, especially the white eye in the gate, which filled them with fear. Living beings have an instinct for sensing danger, and dragons are no exception. Their instincts were particularly strong. They felt that the gate was terrifying and the eye was dangerous, enough to pose a threat to their safety. When they looked at the eye, it felt as if the white eye was also staring at them. The dragons withdrew their gazes one after another, not daring to look any longer. They couldn't understand how a mere level 70 human could possess such terrifying skills. Could it be that the human race had become so powerful now? Or was it just because this human was somewhat special? The 4 dragons couldn't break through the Headless Knight's encirclement, and the Rainbow Beast was injured by the eye of the undead and fled back. Since the eye of the undead appeared, the assessment had suddenly changed its flavor. The dragons were originally struggling to break free from the Headless Knight's encirclement, but now they suddenly slowed down their movements one by one. Lin Mo also keenly noticed this and slowed down the pace as well. The 2 sides seemed to have reached some kind of tacit understanding, not attacking each other. Only the green dragon had some unwillingness in its eyes. Especially the injury of the Rainbow Beast, which deepened its hostility towards Lin Mo by several points. However, due to the limitations of the rules, it could not use stronger power. It didn't dare to break the rules of the instance. Time passed by, and 5 minutes was very short. In the blink of an eye, 3 minutes had passed. Just as Lin Mo thought that the assessment would end like this, a thunderclap suddenly sounded in the air. The thunder was extremely heavy, sounding several times. As if receiving some kind of signal, the 4 dragons roared to the sky at the same time. Even Ellie, who was as gentle as an older sister, also let out a dragon's roar. The auras of the 4 dragons rose, and they simultaneously spewed out dragon breaths. Not ordinary dragon breaths, the dragon breaths contained extremely pure elements. The range of the dragon breaths was extremely large, almost covering the entire assessment area. The 3 elements of poison, wind, and fire intertwined with each other, inseparable from each other, and maintained relative balance. Only Ellie's ice dragon breath remained outside and did not immediately merge into it. Human child, elemental storm is our combined attack skill, the power is a bit large, you have to be careful. Ellie's voice sounded in his ear. This frost dragon, who spoke gently, kindly reminded him at the end. Lin Mo smiled slightly, it seems that this Miss Ellie is a kind dragon. After Ellie finished speaking, the dragon breath she spewed out came into contact with the other 3 elements. Water and fire are incompatible, and the elemental balance was suddenly broken. The elements exploded violently, forming a fierce elemental storm, rampaging in the assessment field. The elements in the assessment field were extremely chaotic, and enormous power surged from all directions, tearing Lin Mo apart. The Headless Knights were blown over and over, unable to control their figures, flying around in the air. A large number of Headless Knights crashed into the surrounding shields and bounced back heavily. Lin Mo still stood in midair, the skeletal armor had long been broken, and he was too lazy to replenish it. Damage transfer made him unscathed. The combined attack skill of the 4 dragons was indeed powerful, but it still didn't reach level 80. Such a small amount of attack was completely ignored by Lin Mo. Lin Mo's eyes were filled with curiosity. This skill is somewhat similar to the elemental riot of the skeleton archmage. However, from the root, elemental riot is more high-end. The elemental riot of the skeleton archmage almost detonated all the elements. And now the 4 dragons are just mixing and detonating their own elements, which is much worse than elemental riot. What Lin Mo was most interested in was the dragon's control. Even in the case of jointly launching skills, they can still control the power. This point is better than himself. Perhaps, I can also practice the control of skills. Controlling the skills to the limit may have unexpected effects. Lin Mo had an idea, feeling that this idea was good and could be tried. The elemental storm quickly dissipated after lasting for a minute. The 4 dragons saw the unscathed Lin Mo, and their eyes widened one by one. Lin Mo Yu's power exceeded their imagination. Lin Mo Yu asked with a smile, "Everyone, have I passed the test?" Ellie was the first to answer, "Passed." The flame dragon was now wide awake, "Are you really a human?" Lin Mo Yu nodded, "Authentic." The whirlwind dragon flapped its wings, "You are very strong, I hope to have a full-strength battle with you." Lin Mo Yu shook his head, "No, a full-strength battle can kill people." The whirlwind dragon said in a deep voice, "Are you afraid?" Lin Mo Yu shook his head, "Not afraid, just unnecessary, I don't want to slay a dragon." "What?" The whirlwind dragon almost choked to death. Lin Mo Yu was a bit presumptuous, actually saying he didn't want to slay a dragon. The green dragon Gevas said coldly, "Arrogant, if it weren't for the dungeon's restrictions, this dragon would have blasted you to death with one breath." Lin Mo Yu chuckled, not refuting. Since he couldn't fight, there was no need for a war of words. At this moment, the flame dragon said, "He has a strong dragon aura on him." Gevas said coldly, "Isn't that normal? Humans and those lowly dragons were originally enemies, killing each other is normal." The flame dragon shook its head, "It's not just ordinary dragons, there's also a dragon king." The whirlwind dragon's eyes suddenly narrowed, "You've slain a dragon king?" Lin Mo Yu hummed an affirmation, "Just killed one a few days ago." Gevas was silent. Although it kept saying that dragons were a lowly race, the dragon king's strength was not weak. After a dragon becomes a dragon king, the power of its bloodline also sublimates. When using the power of the bloodline, a giant dragon phantom will also appear. From the outside, there is no difference between them. As the saying goes, the strong are respected, and a big fist is the only truth. A person who can slay a dragon king naturally has a big fist. Especially someone like Lin Mo Yu who can slay a dragon king at level 70, even if he's not strong enough now, his future is limitless. Gevas has a bad temper, but that doesn't mean it's stupid. Seeing its performance, Lin Mo Yu couldn't help but think, the teacher is right, a big fist is the only truth. Some people can't be reasoned with, you have to use your fists. His fist hadn't even been thrown, he had merely shown it to the other party, and the other party had already shut up. The whirlwind dragon said in a deep voice, "Are you really only level 70? That's right. Then how could you kill a dragon king? You're at least 20 levels below the dragon king." Sometimes, strength and level are not necessarily related. His words left it speechless. Ellie said with a smile, "Human child, can you tell us your name?" They had never asked Lin Mo Yu's name before, but now they were asking. This shows that they acknowledged Lin Mo Yu from the bottom of their hearts. Lin Mo Yu said, "Human, Lin Mo Yu." Ellie nodded, "I've remembered it. Now your first round of assessment has passed, and you have 2 choices. One is to leave the dungeon with the reward from the first round of assessment. 2 is to continue with the second round of assessment. If you pass, the rewards will be doubled. If you fail, you will either get no rewards or lose your life. Once you make a choice, you can't go back on it." The first round of assessment had passed, and 2 choices were placed before Lin Mo Yu. The matter with Antares had not been settled yet, how could he leave here? Lin Mo Yu made his decision without hesitation, "I choose to continue." Ellie said, "Good, with your strength, you can indeed continue." Seeming to have guessed Lin Mo Yu's choice, Ellie didn't say much. It let out a dragon roar towards the sky, the roar spread far away, echoing throughout the dungeon. The barrier covering the assessment field disappeared, and Lin Mo Yu once again felt the power of air prohibition, and the whole person fell from the air. At the other end of the assessment field, a staircase appeared. It was also a 100-step staircase, leading to the higher sky. At the end of the staircase was also a platform, a more massive assessment field. Thunder rumbled in his ears, and lightning flashed in the sky for a time. The sides of the staircase were endless void, and electric snakes danced as well. Ellie said, "The second round of assessment now begins. First, you must walk through the staircase and enter the second level of the assessment stage. The sides of the staircase are a sea of thunder. Once you fall, you will surely die, please be careful." "Thank you." Lin Moyu thanked Ellie. Lin Moyu then spoke, "There was a question earlier, can I ask it now?" Chapter 600. It wants to kill me. You can. The power you display is several levels higher than the examinee. What if an level 89 professional enters? Ellie replied, "That's simple, we just need to display divine power. The difference between level 89 and level 90 is very big." Lin Moyu naturally understood. The difference between level 90 and level 89 is much greater than the difference between level 70 and level 80. From this point of view, people entering the dungeon at level 89 are more tragic. So, I'm relatively lucky. Lin Moyu laughed. Ellie nodded, "That's about right." Lin Moyu asked again, "Then what if a divine powerhouse enters?" Ellie's tone was still calm, "Then there will be another assessment method. For divine powerhouses, our assessment will change." The specifics were not said, and Lin Moyu did not ask further. However, it is conceivable that if a level 90 divine powerhouse enters, it is obviously unrealistic to make him withstand level 95 attacks, he would have been instantly killed. Ellie asked, "Are there any other questions?" Lin Moyu shook his head, "Not for now." He walked towards the staircase, but was thinking about the question just now. From the answer he just got, he already knew that the dungeon must still possess more powerful forces. Even if a divine powerhouse enters the dungeon has the ability to assess them. No wonder even Antares said that there was danger in the Dragon King's palace. It seems that the water in the Dragon King's palace dungeon is much deeper than he thought. Raising his foot and stepping on the step lit up, and a bolt of lightning shot out from the step and landed on Lin Moyu's foot. The lightning was not strong, but it had the paralyzing characteristics of lightning. If a normal person was hit, they would most likely lose their balance and even fall. The steps were not wide, only about 1 meter. Carelessly, one would fall off the steps, fall into the sea of lightning on both sides, and as Ellie said, their bones would not remain. But Lin Moyu was immune to electrical elements, and the lightning struck his feet without feeling anything. Lin Moyu took 2 steps, and they were both lightning attacks, but they gradually increased. This level, simple. Lin Moyu began to move forward in large strides, getting faster and faster. The dragons all widened their eyes. Is it fake? How is he getting faster and faster? The electric element entered his body, doesn't it affect him at all? Even if he has high resistance to electric elements, it's impossible for it to have no effect at all. That's right, even you and I would be affected. This human is too strange. At this time, the green dragon Gevas said in a muffled voice, "He was the same in my poisonous gas before. My poisonous gas had no effect on him at all." Ellie said, "I feel he is very special, the most special one I have ever seen." The flame dragon turned to look at Ellie, "Big sister, are you sure?" Ellie nodded, "Sure, although there are many geniuses, I just think he is very special." Several dragons gasped. Ellie's words were never false. Ellie continued, "Watch, and see if my feeling is right." Ellie soared into the sky and drilled into the clouds, her eyes looking at Lin Moy through the thick clouds. At this time, Lin Moy had finished walking the 100 steps and stood firmly on the assessment platform of the second level. The assessment platform of the second level was much larger than that of the first level. The circular assessment platform was more than 2,000 meters in diameter. In the center of the assessment platform, a giant dragon was lying on the ground sleeping. Lightning flashed and electric snakes danced on the dragon's body. This is a lightning dragon. It seems to be stronger than Ellie and the others, it should have reached the middle god level. Conservatively estimated to be around level 94 to 95, similar to the teacher's aura. Although the other party was very strong, Lin Moy was not worried. He was completely immune to electric elements, so no matter how powerful the lightning dragon was, its strongest ability could not hurt him. In this way, he only needed to consider the opponent's physical attacks. The key was that there were also the rules of the dungeon, and he believed that the other party also had to abide by the rules of the dungeon. Lin Moy walked towards the lightning dragon. The lightning dragon twitched its nose twice and slowly opened its eyes. Its huge eyes reflected Lin Moi's appearance, human. Lin Moi asked, "How should I address you, Your Excellency? You have passed the first level and are qualified to know my name." "I am Leyland, the Thunder Dragon." Lin Moi asked, "Respected Leyland, what is the assessment for this level?" Leyland shook his head and stood up. Don't rush, don't rush. I just woke up, let me get a little more awake. Otherwise, I'm afraid I won't be able to control my power. If I accidentally kill you, it won't be good." Lin Moi remained noncommittal. He was not in a hurry either. He had plenty of patience. As for accidentally killing him, Lin Moi didn't think the other party had that ability. The electric light on Leyland's body was becoming stronger, and his sleepiness was fading. "You humans are really a magical race. Geniuses keep popping up. According to the saying in your world, you should be level 70, right?" His eyes stared at Lin Moi, as if affirming his words. "That's right, you are level 70, that's right. Entering the A-Dragon King's Policia dungeon at level 70 is also the easiest. The rewards are the same, but the difficulty is the lowest. It's really a smart move. Does someone in your family used to enter the A-Dragon King's Policia, so they let you come over at level 70? You humans are just thoughtful, have smart brains, and can maximize profits." Lin Moi didn't have any family elders. If he had to say he did, it would be Antares. It was indeed Antares who urged him to come, and Lin Moi thought that Antares was anxious to get back his Dragon Ball. Now it seems that this is not the case, but Antares knows some of the rules in the A-Dragon King's Policia dungeon. It was best to enter at level 70, but he didn't say it clearly. Lin Moi couldn't help but feel grateful to Antares. At the same time, listening to Leyland's words, a stormy sea was stirred up in his heart. From Leyland's words, Lin Moi captured too much information. What Leyland said was, "Your world." And he also said that the human race is a magical race. The meaning represented by these two sentences alone was already unusual. Are there many worlds? Besides our world, there are other worlds, and there are also human races in other worlds. After that, Leyland also mentioned the family. This shows that there are not a few human races entering the A-Dragon King's Policia dungeon. According to historical records, in recent hundreds of years, no human race has entered the A-Dragon King's Policia dungeon at all. This is worth pondering, since no one from them has entered the A-Dragon King's Policia dungeon, and there are human races entering the A-Dragon King's Policia dungeon, combined with the previous words. Needless to say, it must be the human race from another world. Lin Moi was shocked at first, but then he thought that he had traveled through time, hadn't he? Isn't the world he originally lived in another world? Since there can be a world before he traveled through time, then it seems normal to have more human worlds. Lin Moi had a feeling of enlightenment, and he seemed to have understood something. The vision suddenly became broad, and the things he saw were a little different. For some reason, the soul jumped violently, and it actually became stronger. It wasn't that the soul energy had become more, but that the level of the soul had been improved, and the upper limit had been increased. As Leyland became more and more awake, he said less and less. "A diaresis a ha, I slept a little too long this time, and the awakening time is also a bit long. I like to talk when I wake up, so that I can wake up faster, please forgive me." He was very polite, and didn't look down on Lin Moi because of his level. Lin Moi said, "You can say more, I am a good listener." Lin Moi couldn't wait for the other party to say more, so that he could know more. Such an opportunity is very rare. Leyland laughed, "That's enough." Suddenly, his brows furrowed, and a thunderclap sounded in the air at the same time. Lin Moi saw a sea of thunder appear in the air, and then quickly disappear. Leyland looked at Lin Moi, his eyes a little gloomy. Lin Moi didn't know what was wrong. Leyland, who had been fine the second before, suddenly changed his face. Leyland looked at Lin Moi for a few seconds before opening his mouth again. "Don't tell anyone what I said just now. Otherwise." Leyland seemed to want to threaten Lin Moi, but after thinking for a long time, he couldn't say any threatening words. Lin Moi guessed that there might be too many rules restricting him. And just now, he just let it slip. The more this was the case, the more Lin Moi felt that this world was not normal. Lin Moi said, "Your Excellency Leyland, please rest assured, I will not talk nonsense." Leyland stared at Lin Moi. Even though Lin Moi had guaranteed it, he was obviously still not at ease. The words had already been spoken, and they could not be taken back. Leyland couldn't think of a good way either. The two sides seemed to be in a stalemate. Suddenly, killing intent rose from Leyland's body. Lin Moi was terrified, he wants to kill me. Feng, however, this requires time. The immediate problem is dealing with the desolate beasts.